Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another stream. It's been quite some time. I think it's been a couple months since the last stream. I'm pretty sure at the time it was like winter time, so it's been a little bit. But first and foremost, before we get into it, where are you watching from, and what time is it where you're at? I'm always curious to know. And while you guys are commenting, I want to introduce my special guest, who many of you probably already know and have seen in the title of this live stream, but Reese Geofroy, welcome to the stream.
Hey guys, how are we doing today? I see a very lively chat. Let's
see, does anyone here actually know what dogs are? I don't know what dogs are. It's the greatest questions. Let's see.
I've never seen a dog in my life. So, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Reese, it's nice to have you on. This is the first time I've ever had a guest on a live stream, I think. Other than maybe like one of the Fearth members popping in. So how does it feel to be the first special guest?
It feels natural, man, because I think you were my first guest too. So I feel like it's rightfully earned.
It's only fair.
It's an honor, man. It's an honor. Yeah.
Awesome.
We're gonna have a lot of fun today.
Yeah, we have a lot planned. For sure. All right, let's see. So we're getting some Brazil. It's 5 p.m. Someone said, Reese, I'm a fan. It's 4 o'clock in Texas. Remember the egg taco? Who could forget? Goodgis, what platform do you use? What do you mean by platform? That's a very, I don't know. And then people are talking about dog meat. So well, I think on that note, I think we can jump straight into what our challenge is for today. Throughout this challenge, you guys will feel free to ask questions to Reese or myself. We'll be trying to answer questions and doing pixel art challenges because that's how we roll. But let's jump over into the main screen here. So today, Reese and I, we've decided to try to reimagine each other's games in our own pixel art style. So basically, I'm going to be trying to create Reese's game Monster Tribe, recreate it in a way if it was a side-scroller platformer like my game, Dewdrop Dynasty, and vice versa. Reese is going to try to make Dewdrop Dynasty in a top-down like RPG style and the art style of Monster Tribe. I don't know if that makes sense, but it will pretty shortly here. And we're also going to do some lovely polls to see which enemies and which areas in the game that you guys want us to create, because polls are awesome, and it's, you know, everyone needs a little bit of polls in their life. So I guess is there anything you'd like to say, Reese, before we dive into the chaos here?
You know, I'm just gonna say, guys, we planned a few things. You know, we planned a few things before the stream, but honestly, we're just here to have some fun. It's a friendly competition, and at the end of the day, Goodgis and I both know, you know, we have some awesome games here, and we're just trying to have a good time with you guys, see what we can make. And if I don't win, I don't know what to say. I'm actually making a video on this stream. So Goodgis took over the live stream, and then I'll be actually making a video on this whole process. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's a win-win either way. So, all right. So to get started, we're going to start. Reese, I'm going to have you go first on the poll. So I'm going to pull up a poll on screen, and then I'm going to also put it in the chat. Let me get this set up. Should Reese make? All right. And then we're going to pop this up here, and give us a second because I got to actually enter this in. But option number 1 or option number 2, which enemy from Dewdrop Dynasty should Reese make? Here we go. In the chat. And while that's happening, I'm going to answer any questions. Thomas, yes,
if you guys want to ping us in the chat.
Yes, that would be perfect. I definitely was a graphic design major. That's still what I do for a living. I do game dev on the side for now. So, trying to live the dream. Flower, thank you so much for the £2 donation. Goodgis by knockout. I appreciate it. Sheepley, you have math finals tomorrow. Good luck in that. Math is definitely a fun class for sure. I definitely didn't dislike math at all in school, so no. I'm sure you'll do well. Just study and you'll do great. Let's see. Champa looks cool. So literally before the stream, Reese was asking for the names of these the enemies. And I'm not gonna lie, I definitely didn't come up with them on the spot.
No way.
Me and
that's hilarious.
Yeah, Kiwi and I were talking about like what are fun names to say, and Patunka or Tunka, however you want to say it. The P can be silent. I don't know. It just sounds fun. It sounds like you're like running something over on the freeway. Let's see. All right.
I'm not gonna lie, man. All right, I'm not gonna. Hopefully, I don't sway the vote here. I think everybody's kind of locked in their answers at this point in time.
Yeah, I think so too.
Tonka is definitely my favorite enemy in Dewdrop Dynasty. I have to say. I don't know. There's something about like the slender head kind of design and the pink and blue color scheme. I don't know, man. It's killer. So.
It's a very Reese design, and also, well, what's interesting about it is like the triangle shapes are in character design tend to be more like mischievous and sharp and untrustworthy. So it's a better enemy design for that reason. But
yes.
All right, I think I'll give it a couple more seconds, but I think that's pretty much all the votes. It's looking like Champa's taking the lead. Yes. Patanka is based off a pterodactyl. Did I say that right? I always say pterodactyl, and Kiwi corrects me. Also, if you guys want to join along, if you guys are artists and you would like to join along in this challenge as well, feel free to pick which game you want to do, whether it's doing Dewdrop art or Monster Tribe art. Feel free to join, and I guess the best way is to tweet at me or a Reese, or on our Discord channels if you're in them. Put them in the art channel, and that'd be awesome. I would love to see what you guys come up with. So
yeah, for sure. And I definitely, if we do get some submissions from this live stream, I'll be sure to share them in the video when I put out that video on Friday. So if that's not an incentive, I don't know what is. But yeah, if you guys want to be featured in a video, send Goodgis or myself your drawings while we're on the stream today, and I'll do my best to get some of those out there. But yeah, you want to start? You ready to go?
Yeah, so Champa is picked. Now it's on to the Monster Tribe enemies. I'm typing them in the chat. Sorry, hold on 1 second. Is that Polgon?
Yeah, Polgon.
Stupor?
Polgon's the first one.
All right, here we go.
Yes, sir.
Polgon. Will you be able to play Dewdrop Dynasty on Apple or on the Xbox? If you're saying on mobile, I'm not sure, and I'm also not sure about Xbox. Right now, we only have planned as PC, and then also Nintendo Switch. But if all goes well, we'll port to more places. So it all comes down to how successful the game is, because porting is expensive. Let's see.
I love seeing my stream viewers in your stream. I think that's so awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think it's great that people overlap, and it's awesome. Looking like Polgon is taking the lead here.
I'm so confused.
57% votes.
Is that Goodgis in the chat? Someone else? Is there?
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
I don't know how I feel about that. Whoever the Goodgis user is, I would appreciate if you didn't do that because it is confusing for people. If it's not easy to change, I don't know. No, I don't think it's.
It's getting pretty close.
I think it's my channel.
Yo, it's really close, man. It's a 6% vote
This is
difference here.
Holy moly. Okay, where are we at? 115 votes. All right, so there's still 15 people that can vote here, but it's looking like Polygon. Or
What
Polygon.
photo editor do you guys use? Yeah, I actually use Pixlr X to make. So I just threw these together this morning. These little like verses or thumbnail pictures, if you will. I use Pixlr X to make these. Goodgis, what do you use?
What do you use
to make your thumbnails?
Paint.net. Like, I have Photoshop, but Photoshop is like just destroys your computer. It's so resource intensive. So I just use Paint.net. It's free on Windows. If you know, GIMP is great too, but yeah, I don't know. Paint.net and Adobe Illustrator for the type. So okay. I'm Goodgis chat replacement. What? I can't tell if this is Crepe on my account or if this is actually someone else. So okay. So I think we can call it yes. I think Polygon wins the challenge here. So it looks like you're doing Champa, I'm doing Polygon, and let's make it happen. Let's jump into it.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a dinosaur versus dinosaur matchup. what more can go wrong here?
It is. All right, sweet. Don't do that. What am I doing? Okay, it's on the wrong tab here. I gotta pull up the reference here.
Yeah, I definitely need some reference art. Champa. I don't know if you can tell. I've literally been talking all day nonstop, so my voice is already shot. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I was trying to.
This is gonna be a tough one. This is gonna be a tough stream.
I was trying to save my voice too, but yeah, that didn't pan out. I just love talking too much. That's my problem.
Yeah. Or are we starting?
Yes. Sorry, I am.
All right, we're ready to go.
I'm pulling up reference right now. I'm pulling up.
Champa. Man.
Part of my goal is just to have names that people are embarrassed to say. So like when there's live streams of Dewdrop later on, like, oh, I got killed by a Champa. So you know what I should do? Oh, that's spoilers. I don't want to do that. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out about the fake Goodgis.
It could be Crepe.
I think it's
maybe.
I don't know if you can. Goodgis is tired. I'm not tired. I'm just I'm not energized. It's been such a long time since I've streamed, and it's really weird getting back into it. Like, there's definitely a muscle with it. So
oh, definitely.
Trust me, we'll get into this. I'll get amped up. Love, how's it going? Long time no see. It's been, how you doing, man? It has been a while, hasn't it? Oops.
Try to see if I have a, a monster with pink. I feel like I haven't used a color scheme like using pink in a long time. So we got to sift a little bit here. See if we can find some pinks. I don't know about you, man, but I actually, no, your game is very color coded. But I guess for, you know, the other artists in the chat and all that stuff, guys, finding consistent colors, using consistent colors through your artwork for your video games, very important. You know, so make sure you're consistent with using the same colors over and over. because if you create a color palette that's just too large, it's not going to look consistent. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just gonna look very muddy, and or it's just, yeah, it's gonna look like you just copied someone else's artwork somewhere and just slapped it into your game. So yeah, color is very important, and you can even use color to represent, indicate things in your game. So like, for example, in Dewdrop, the reason that all the enemies have white in their eyes is because only enemies have white in their eyes. So it's like a little subtle thing that I only use white for things that can hurt you in the game. So once you learn that, it helps you. It's like a subconscious thing that the player picks up, and then you learn to dodge white eyes. So,
oh man, I just realized, dude. I don't know if our art's gonna be the same amount of time.
It's not. It's that. Not, but it's totally fine. I'll take my time, and I'll read chat too. So, I knew that going into it. The green monster looks sad, like he lost something. He's trying to find it. He lost himself.
This looks so bad right now.
Goodgis, can you display the original art in a corner? I already forgot how the originals looked. That would have been smart. Let's see if I can do that. I'll give Reese a little bit of a head start here.
Yes. Definitely need that.
Let's
Lord.
Grab this bad boy. You're gonna see some live editing, folks. All right. The green boy is so cute. Yeah, the green boy's happy. Champa. All right, this Champa's gonna be huge. Get ready. Oh, he's not that big. Okay, we'll put him up here in the corner.
This is definitely the derpiest monster try monster I've ever made in my life.
Okay.
It's fine.
Get, there we go. Who was that suggested it? About putting that in the corner? Fantastic suggestion. Thank you for bringing that up. All right. Okay. All right, we're back at it. Hey, real Goodgis, can I add you in my game? Sure. Are you thinking about doing like a little cameo or something? I'm always down. Okay.
Don't worry, guys. Once we get that shading in, we're gonna be golden. Be flying. Champa is looking sauce. Yeah, he's definitely looking sauce right now. Don't worry, we'll be underpifying him soon. I need the basic structure down first.
Yeah, blocking out is like one of the most important things. Also, you have to understand too, like our canvases are so small in order to fit these are like screens side by side. So this is a little bit of a handicap here.
That's also true. I forgot about that.
So
the canvases that we're using,
yeah, they're so
basically shrunken in half.
It's like half our screen.
Alrighty.
Champa's looking okay. I need to get that dino as a plush toy. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I want to do that. I know Polymars did that plush toy thing for his logo. I think that'd be so cool to do that for a character, either like the Goodgis character or like a Dewdrop character. But I don't.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I really wanted to do plushies as a reward for what was it, for the Kickstarter, but it's it can get pricey. So
yeah,
it can get pricey
for sure.
Not exactly the best profit, but I mean it's just an awesome thing to do just for fun, right? Just to have your character physically out there.
Yeah, it makes it feel more real, and it creates a better experience. It's just cool. Like that's what, like it's like seeing like Pokemon plushies growing up. Like it's such a cool thing to see. I've never had a fake Goodgis before. Sorry, fake Goodgis. If your name was anything else, you'd be fine. But I just don't want people to get confused, and it kind of breaks our guidelines here. So I appreciate you loving the name, but Goodgis, is there a story behind Champa's pink jaw? I'm wondering. You'll have to wait and see.
Oh shoot, he has a pink jaw. I didn't even realize that. That is key.
Man. All right,
That is key.
I gotta get this. There we go. The proportions are looking better here. See, the problem about Dewdrop art style, it's not the problem, but the challenge with the style is it's so stylized that it really, like, you have to simplify like the most basic shapes. So it's a tricky style to work with, but Polygon's looking a little bit like a chicken right now.
Okay, so I definitely think adding the eyebrow was very crucial in making this creature a little bit less derpy.
There you go. All right, I got to get this extra head. It's different. There's an invisible symbol. Oh man, I'm sorry. If you don't change it, we may have to hide you from the channel. Let's see. Okay. Wait. Hey, Reese. Can I add you in Run and Gun? Says one of says Stickman Art. I don't know what Run and Gun is. I'm assuming that's.
Wait, sorry. What was that?
His game.
Can I add you in Run and Gun? What's Run and Gun, man?
I don't know.
Sure. Send me a DM, and we can talk about it.
Okay, that leg is looking sus. Love says, Goodgis, unrelated question, but what do you think about Sonic Frontiers? I think Sonic's looks too cartoony for the new environment, and the gameplay needs more polish. Yeah, I was just looking at footage of it the other day, and it does look kind of strange. I think the environment, you know, and maybe some people may disagree with me on this, but I think the environment is like too realistic. I wish it was a little bit more stylized to match, because Sonic never looks good in a realistic environment. Like there's a reason there was backlash in the movies. So I don't think a more realistic Sonic would look good. I think that would be kind of scary, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, it just Sega being Sega, and I don't want to like judge because the game's not out yet. So, and if it doesn't do well, then I don't know. It's nothing new with the Sonic team. So, but I am a big Sonic fan, so it is kind of a shame if it doesn't do well.
Yeah, actually, me too. I definitely I played a lot of Sonic growing up. Like I think I was more of a Mario guy for sure, but Sonic was up there for me.
Get those Sonic Adventure games, man. Oh, so good.
Yeah. Solid games.
Let's see. Okay, question for Goodgis. What software do you use for your pixel art? I'm using Pixel Edit, and Reese is using Sprite. There's a link in the description if you want to check them out. They both cost money, but I mean, you don't need to honestly spend money for pixel art. You could just use Paint if you really wanted to. That's why I started out MS Paint. That's how good old days. So, all right. Goodgis, where's the best place to start learning coding in your opinion? Start working on a project, because projects really force you to learn. Like, if you want to make a game, you're gonna learn a lot more than like just sitting down. And like, you should watch tutorials and stuff like that, and there's a lot of great YouTube tutorials. You could take a class on Udemy or something. But when it comes to I don't know, when it comes to like learning, especially with game dev, I think like doing it by practice. I mean, What do you think about that, Reese? What do you feel like is a good way to get started in the coding realm?
For learning coding?
Yeah.
I mean, I would agree with what Goodgis is saying. I think, tutorials are definitely helpful. Like I learned through tutorials. I think most of us did as well.
Yeah.
I'm also in the chat now, man. He swapped it from the Goodgis profile to a Reese geography profile.
Oh man. Anything you can make it bad, guess. Just don't make it. Just don't copy. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think a lot of us probably learned through tutorials, and I think that's totally fine as long as, again, you're actually applying what you're learning, and reiterating on it. Like, you take, let's say you look up, for example, there's this thing called tutorial hell. A lot of people say, where you feel like once you start, creating or like looking into tutorials to learn, you can't really break out of that. And I think that's kind of incorrect. I think there's kind of a period of time where maybe you're very like reliant on tutorials, but you start to kind of understand, the basic understanding of your game engine. When you look at tutorials, that way you can start to, okay, I'm going to code an inventory system and I'm going to follow along with the tutorial, but then I've learned these techniques and I know how to use arrays now, and I can use arrays to create quests or dialogue, dialogue trees or something. So I think they're a great way to learn. I think take a course if you feel like you don't have the ability to structure properly. Like if you're somebody that struggles to have things organized, I think courses are a good way to keep your workflow organized, but I don't think they're necessarily important but crucial for everybody. So that's my 2 cents.
That's good advice. Goodgis, will Dewdrop have Easter eggs? Perhaps. There's actually a lot of stuff that it's like, I love working on Dewdrop, but it's one of those games I can't really show anything about, even the devlogs, because it'll spoil a lot. So you just have to wait and see till the final game. But there's a lot of thought behind the lore and the story and the characters. And when I first started Dewdrop, it kind of was like a fun little project to work on. But now it's getting to a place where I just really feel like I'm falling in love with the project and enjoying every aspect. Now that all the pieces are kind of figured out of the locations, now it's just the fleshing out part, which is actually a lot of fun. So let's see. Goodgis, what game software do you use to develop games? I use Godot, and I used to use Game Maker, like Reese here. I was a Game Maker man, but now I'm a Godot bro. So let's see what else. Goodgis, on the opposite, what's the best way to start learning pixel art? Well, it's by taking Reese's PixArt class. No, I mean, yeah, taking courses is a really great way, especially if, I do think education it's hard to come by, and it's worth the money for sure. Like I went to school for it, not for pixel art obviously, but for art. But it just takes practice. You just practice and you copy. I have both Reese and I both have great tutorials on getting started with pixel art, so check them out. It's actually like some of our most popular videos are that. So let's see. Goodgis, are you gonna keep these sprites in your game as cameos or something? Maybe. You never know. What if I do and then Reese, you sue me? You're like, you can't use my IP. What are you doing? No.
I'm giving you the golden ticket, man. You're good. You're good.
So if you see a little Dino boy, you know where it's from. You were here.
We're all here.
We are. Let's see. Okay, I'm behind the chat as usual. Okay, I'm gonna do some quick answering right now. Quick questions. Goodgis sprites be looking like a Digimon. Well, maybe it is. No.
Never know.
You
Never
guys
know with these things.
You guys are the princes of pixels. Both designs are already looking amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It just takes a lot of practice. Reese, you probably do it more than I do. You've come a long way with your pixel art, so. Goodgis, Reese, y'all have advice for YouTube? I just passed 1K and would love to hear any advice you guys have for game dev channels. I guess my advice would be to, first off, make something you enjoy. You obviously don't want to do it if you're not enjoying it yourself. And then you want to make your thumbnails as clean as possible, like not cluttered, not crazy. Don't try to make clickbait. I just was watching this guy talk about performance in YouTube yesterday, and he was saying that that substance is better than quality. So if your video has a lot of substance to it, where it's interesting and you're giving a lot, it's not just like rehashing something in old news, then it's gonna do well, even if your editing's not that great. So substance over quality, and have fun with it. And Reese, I don't know if you have any other thoughts on that.
Yeah, actually, I just answered this question. I did a Q&A like 2 weeks ago, so giving like a short rundown version of my answer, I would just say kind of what Goodgis said. You know, you're in it for the love of it. If you're trying to do it for, like, it's always hobby first. And I think if eventually you get to a point where you can do it as a career or a job, or whatever, you know, need to be able to love it as a hobby first. But I would say focus on, like, the biggest thing that helped me grow, because I think it's very important to, you know, relate to your own experiences. I always do, because I think, you know, that's what we know, right, is our own experiences. And so in my experience, I'm kind of branching off from creating really low quality devlog videos and game dev videos to the content I put out now is look at the best people in your niche, but also people outside of your niche. Look at the best and pull inspiration and see how you can do as well, if not better, than those people. And, you know, how you portray your information through storytelling, you know, how you present yourself on camera, if that's something you're doing, you know, whatever skills you have that you're kind of leaning into, just look at the best. Don't try to recreate the wheel, but, you know, you will eventually kind of create your own style. But, you know, I think it's good to find inspiration within the community and on YouTube or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I like to ramble, man. I like to ramble with my answers.
No, it's good. I think it's great advice. So hopefully that helps, and we'll see in a couple months. So Dragon Titan says, Goodgis, are you gonna play Silk Song when it comes out? I honestly haven't even finished Hollow Knight. Everyone's like, thinks Dewdrop is like Hollow Knight, and to be honest, guys, like, I didn't even know what Hollow Knight was until after everyone was like, hey, Dewdrop's like Hollow Knight. So I have played it a little bit, but it's like aggravatingly hard. And not that it's like I'm against aggravatingly hard games, but I guess I just don't play them as often. So maybe I might, and maybe I won't. I don't know. Dewdrop is gonna be the weirdest Metroidvania because it's not really inspired by that many other Metroidvanias. It's inspired mostly by like Zelda, which is, you could kind of say, is like a top-down Metroidvania. And so anyway, it'll be interesting. Thomas said, Goodgis and Reese, thanks for the advice, guys. I'm having a ton of fun making videos so far. Dude, that's what it's all about. So super happy to hear it. Someone's asking how much Dewdrop will cost. I don't know yet. Dewdrop is probably going to be like, see, this is the tricky thing, guys. Like, the cheaper you make it, Steam takes a huge cut. So if I made it something really cheap, then I would be making like a penny on the game. So I haven't decided yet. It's gonna all come down to how long it takes to beat the game and how many things are in it. So but the price could range between like $8 to $12, maybe more. So not sure yet. Got to do some research. So I'll keep you posted. Goodgis, can you add eyebrows? To what? He doesn't have eyebrows.
Eyebrows.
Also, I think I'm like adding to the design of this character because it doesn't have, Polygon doesn't have 2 antenna thingies, right? Ears, it just has 1. Is that right? Or does it have 2?
It has 2. Oh wait, no. You mean like the little head piece on the top?
Yeah.
It only has 1.
Okay. Oops. You didn't see that.
No, you're good. This is, you know, a recreation of our creatures. We're not doing one-to-one scales here, guys. You know, we're just having fun with it. So I'm liking it. I'm digging it, man. I think it's looking clean. It looks like a Dewdrop monster or enemy.
It does fit in pretty well. These cuties do have names. This is Polygon, and then Reese is working on Champa. Why do we name our monsters that? I don't know. You'll have to ask us 5 years ago, or I don't, or 5 minutes ago for me. But okay, Goodgis, what do you think of Game Design College? You know what? I don't know. As a person who didn't go to Game Design College, I'm really not sure. I think if you really want to do something, you shouldn't wait around for schooling to do it. The way I did it is I went to school for graphic design, and I have a job in that, and I have job security, and it doesn't seem like there's a ton of job security in game development. If you want to get hired, there could be, but the way that I think Reese and I are trying to approach is like kind of do it on our own terms, and it doesn't mean you can't take classes or go to college or anything, but I think it's going to take a while to achieve your game dev career that you want. So in the meantime, you need like bread and butter. Like you need something that's going to bring in the dough. And for me, that was artwork. So that's kind of my thought on it, but you know, I could be totally wrong. Goodgis,
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. Sorry. Darko I says, Goodgis, is Reese going to use his Champa sprite or no? I can neither confirm or deny if any of these sprites will ever see the light of day after the stream, but you never know. Man, I
think.
Go ahead, sorry.
We can't confirm or deny. You never know. I'm gonna say, at least for me, I have a restricted amount. So there's 72 total monsters in the game, and there's kind of like a reason behind that. We can't really extend the limit of 72. We're kind of stuck with that constraint. So I'm gonna say probably not, but you never know. If this character ever shows up again, who knows? Who knows?
In the sequel. No, I was kidding. You're like, no!
I don't know if this is the most well-executed monster drawing I've done in my time, so.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. You've captured the character well, so.
Yeah, well, I tried to keep it quirky, you know? I tried to make it a little bit more like monster-esque, just because that's obviously the style of my game. I tried to do Goodgis's Dewdrop Dynasty game the best that I could, and keep some of that quirky silliness. So
I think it looks beautiful.
Yeah, I hope it worked out.
All right, I'm gonna do rapid fire answer some questions because I'm as always I get behind on the chat. Who's your music guy? Also, could you play it over the stream? So, all right, regarding the composer, everyone's been asking about the composer. I just got confirmation that I can announce him. Actually, if you were a Patreon supporter, you would have known who the composer was a couple days ago, because all that information about Dewdrop and behind the scenes stuff gets announced there. But I will announce it here. I'm gonna do an official post, so like, feel free to share the news if you want, but there will be an official post. His name is Peter Jonas, and he's an absolutely fantastic composer. He has a very 90s retro style, like Super Nintendo and a Nintendo 64 style. We're working on tracks right now. We're just wrapping up our first track. So when I have music to show and I'm allowed to show it, it'll be in a devlog, trust me. But he's doing an absolutely phenomenal job. And I literally listened to over like 100, 200 composers. And as soon as I like heard his music, I fell in love with it. So he's gonna have a great fit for the game. It's not chiptune. I think a lot of people were thinking Dewdrop would have chiptune, music, but it's not. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be nostalgic, and so look forward to that. I'm not answering fast enough. Goodgis, I gotta go to sleep. I have an exam tomorrow. Fallstorm, have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. Goodgis, have you played Super Metroid yet? I've almost beaten it. I don't know why I haven't beaten it, but I'm at the end. It's a pretty good game. I don't love the setting because I don't know. It's not a bad setting, but I'm just not a big space theme fan. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna. Oscar says,
I'm done here, man.
Goodgis and Reese, how did you come up with the ideas for the games that are developed and interesting enough? The thing is, you don't know if they're interesting enough. That's why you have to prototype, and we're hoping and praying that if we enjoy our games and we play test and you guys enjoy the games, that there'll be games that people want to play. So it's really a matter of I don't know. Prototyping is a huge part of it. Prototyping and having friends and family play it, and you get some friends and family can be a little biased sometimes. So get someone that can give you like their honest opinion on whether it's boring or not. So, okay, one more question I'll answer, and then I think the first challenge is complete. So, Josh asks how did I pick my name? GIS does not stand for anything. It's supposed to be Good Guy. I made the name when I was 10 when I was playing RuneScape, but Good Guy was taken, so I backspaced twice and typed IS. So that's where the name comes from. It's good. It's literally a RuneScape name. That means good guy. Okay. Let's look at these two together. These are beautiful. You seriously did a great job of capturing his ginormous head.
Yes.
I love it. That turned out great. What do you guys think? Let us know in the chat which one you guys love. Do you think they fit the style well? Mine definitely has a lot more shading than yours. I'm kidding.
So somebody said, sorry, scrolling back up here. Let's see. Reese's doesn't look like what it's meant to be. Are you modifying the characters? So yes, we are modifying the characters. We're not doing a one-to-one scale necessarily. More, I guess, the idea is to take the idea of characters that we have and imagine them as if they were, an enemy or a monster in said game. So I think Goodgis, yours is pretty on point. Yours is very much full gone in Dewdrop. I think mine is a little bit more monster based off of Champa, but Monster Tribe. So a little bit of a different approach there, I think. But I think you did a pretty good job. And how much time was that? That was like 15 minutes or something. 20 minutes.
Half an hour.
Was it half an hour? No way.
I think so. Aaron, thanks for stopping by, man. Have a good one. Yeah, and I think it's perfect because the whole idea with this challenge too is it's trying to create it in the other person's style. So I think you did a really good job of it. Feels like a Monster Tribe. It's almost like you're the artist for that game. So okay.
Yeah, I think some key differences here is the spike, the sharp design. I would say Champa looks almost. I don't know if this is intentional, but Champa looks more like almost like a rat.
He does,
in Dewdrop Dynasty. I didn't get that at first when I was originally creating this. I didn't see that until way later. I think if I knew that before, maybe I would have gone a little bit more on the kind of rodents proportion on this, but going with more of the dinosaur aesthetic. So I, used some spikes, used some scaly skin, and added some spikes on the tail, on the top of the head, and gave it kind of like almost like an Egyptian style eye, with the shading and the eyebrows and stuff like that. So again, just characterizing the character a little bit more, giving it some kind of personality that would reflect Monster Tribe a little bit more. But yeah. Anything you want to say about your drawing there?
Yeah, so
Yes.
what I think is so unique about this challenge is what you have to do for Dewdrop is you have to flesh out this character design that's really basic, which is really interesting. So you're giving me a lot more detail. And what I have to do is I have to reduce it and make it readable on a smaller scale and still come across, which I love doing. That's something I do. I make icons all the time. So I try to keep it pretty faithful as much as I can, because to me that's kind of the challenge of like, can I get all the little detail into a few pixels? So
Yeah, you nailed it, man.
yeah, it feels very much like a Dewdrop character, and I tried to keep the I guess I hold on, I'll fix it. There you go. Has the yellow eyes. So but yeah, I think both turned out really great. I'm impressed, and I'm ready to jump into the next one. So are you guys ready to vote? Also, name who's the man behind the mask? Tell me. Someone said, hold on, I'm gonna go back. Guys, if you asked a question and we totally ignored it, please ask it again until we answer it. I will just don't spam it. Just don't spam it like four times, one
Every
after the
couple
other.
minutes.
Yeah, because we want to answer all your questions. Champa thick. Okay, so we're gonna jump into the next one for Sir Reese of Canada. What? Okay, so I'm gonna do another poll. Here we go. Let's do something here. We're gonna hide these, and then all right, so this is for Reese's next challenge. So which should he pick, Stadump or Gulp? Gulp or whatever. Gulp. Let me know in the chat down below. Stickman, will I make a DLC for Dewdrop? I've thought about maybe making a different character you can play as. It seriously comes down to it all comes down to how well the game does, because it's hard. You don't want to invest like all this time and energy in DLC if like 2 people buy the game. So if the game does well and you guys have been awesome and super supportive, then I don't see why not. I'm firmly in the belief that you should like support and continue to like work and update your game. So for sure. Love the Luma musical choice. Thank you. It is classic. I don't think you can hear it, Reese, but it's Mario Galaxy music.
No, I can't. Cannot.
Penguin says, Goodgis, do you think that Godot is best? I sure do. I personally love Godot. I think you can make great games with other game engines. There's so many great games made with Game Maker and Unity and Unreal. I just love Godot the most, and I love to hate on Unity. So that's me in a nutshell. So this is directed towards me, but I'm gonna ask you, Reese.
Yes.
Pixel the Cuber says, how do you come up for names for your game?
Names?
Yeah, how'd you come up with Monster Tribe and
names for games?
yeah, like
Honestly, that one
go ahead, sorry.
that one's pretty not sure who asked this, but to answer your question, I think that just comes with experimentation. Like I was creating games from a kid with my siblings. I was maybe 7 or 8 years old, just coming up with video game idea concepts. I had no idea that 10, 15 years later I'd be actually making those games myself. or games like those. But yeah, it's been a hobby of mine since the beginning of time. Is creating concepts. So names just came kind of natural. But honestly, I don't think there's any one one size fits all type method for this. I think something I used to do is I would try to create names like kind of sound similar to each other, like Shield Shock, for example. You have the SH in the beginning for both. Trying to create names that are very easy to remember, I guess, but distinct. Monster Tribe, not exactly. It's pretty basic. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have any advice? This is a weird one. I don't really know.
Yeah,
it just kind of comes natural. It's like, oh, this is a game about monsters, and we can create a tribe.
it is. There's something about creating names where you want them to be unique, but you don't want them to be so unique that they're like weird. Like you don't want to like call your game like blah, 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 or something like that. So what I try to do is I do like what Reese was saying, the classic Donkey Kong Country style of doing is it alliterations, where it's like Dewdrop Dynasty, it all starts with D's.
Right.
Apparently in the copywriting world, like that's like not a good thing that you should do, but I think if the name sounds good to say, then it's a pretty good name. And then just try to pick a name that hasn't been chosen before. Like if you call your game like Battle Royale game, like you're not doing yourself any favors. So try to make something unique. It is cool to kind of make up a word, but you don't want it to be like arbitrary, like Googie Goggles Adventure. It's like people are gonna be like, what the heck is that? So there's a fine line between it all, but it really comes down to what sounds nice, and you have to say it. Like for these enemies, I purely pick these names just based off of how they sound. They're very guttural or onomatopoeia, just because I like it. So all right, we got like a bajillion questions, but I think the votes are in, and Stadump is the choice. So I'm going to end that.
I'm excited.
And then we're going to do one last question here, or not, just for the poll here on what I'll be doing. What enemy should Goodgis?
I don't think any of you guys are ready for what I have in mind for Stadump. I don't think anybody's ready, man. See if I could actually execute it properly, but
all right, let's do this. Let's switch to that. All right, which enemy? Or these are legendaries in the game, right? In Monster Tribe?
No.
Okay, these are not
basic enemies. These are actually some of the original concepts. Like these are monsters that slightly redesigned. I'd gone back and redid or like reworked some of these creatures as I got better at pixel art, but these 4 creatures have all been around for years. Even before I started working on Monster Tribe, these monsters were made just because I liked drawing creatures. I always loved like Pokemon and games like that, so I originally created I think all 4 of these designs like 4 or 5 years ago, and then I just repurposed them, and with my new knowledge of how to texture things properly in pixel art or whatever it is. But yeah, so
I love it. They're great. Okay, so I'm gonna do rapid fire questions while you guys are voting. Someone asked, Goodgis, is the goal of Dewdrop to find your wings? That's the very basic goal, but Poe stumbles upon a whole amount of trouble and deeper secrets and lore. So at first it may seem like that, but you'll have to wait and see. The lore is pretty fleshed out. It's pretty crazy. It's the most lore I've probably done on a game. So Goodgis, do you have any advice about working with YouTube algorithm? I'd like to start a channel and eventually start earning some extra cash, but all the topics I do seem to be oversaturated right now. You just have to make something unique. You find a niche, and everyone talks about like, oh, the algorithm, but really it comes down to, it's not appeasing algorithms, it's making something that someone wants to watch. So and there's some techniques you can do for that, but really if you're bored by your own videos, then that's probably an indication. And sometimes areas are oversaturated, so find a niche. Like a good example is Squid God Dev. He does videos just on the Playdate, and that's super cool because no one else is doing videos on that. So he's found a niche. So Sockhouse Studios says, how did Goodgis, Reese, and Polymars meet? I met Reese. Actually, Reese popped on a stream one time. He was stalking me, and he popped on a stream. He was like, yo, we should chat. So he reached out to me, and then from day one, we hit it off. And I found out Reese was friends with Polymars, and I was like kind of fanboying a little bit. So I was like, hey, can you introduce me? So that's how we met. And then Jack was just there. Bargy was just like, yo, I'm Bargy. I'm like, oh, who are you? Now look at him now.
Exactly.
Okay, any other, earlier you said to do projects to learn code. Are there any small projects you'd recommend to start with Godot? Pong, Flappy Bird, Snake, really basic games, like the classic games, because there's gonna be tutorials on them, and they're really easy to make, and but they'll be challenging enough for your first game. So just start really simple. Goodgis, what advice do you have for someone who wanting to go into game asset design? I think it's great. There's a lot of great programmers out there, but there's not a lot of artists. So I think like you could definitely make some money off of it, even just like selling assets on the store or contract work. So I think that's awesome. I think Bargy said Godot is for idiots. Well, here's the thing. I'm not going to say it the other way around about people that use Unity, because that's not fair. I think Unity's a great engine. I think Bargy's just a little butthurt because he doesn't understand Godot. So, okay. How old was I when I started game dev? I was 13. How old were you, Reese?
Well, I mean, as I mentioned earlier, game concepts. I've been doing game concepts from like 7 or 8 years old. But actually making games, I think I started at 17.
Okay. That makes sense.
So like 5 years.
That's still, you got some, you're a veteran game maker guy now. All right. It looks like the votes are in, and is it Albech? Is that the name? Elbeck. Albeck. All right. I don't know why I thought it was Betch.
I'll bet.
I'll bet you. No, okay. All right. Albeck and good old Stadump. So let me Stadump. Let me slap these boys in the top right corner and let's get started. And it'll be beautiful. Let me save this. So I got some beautiful Mario Odyssey music playing in the background. Okay. Watermelon King says, Goodgis, do you remember the Egg Taco Gang? How can I ever forget? It's become a staple in the chat from day one. Literally day one. Okay. All right. Champa, Stadump, boom. All right, I'm ready to dive in.
I'm ready to go, man.
It's gonna be
this is probably gonna be the hardest design I've ever done, but
this is whoa.
I'll do my best.
Got something in the chat. Whoa. Watch this. Kiwi's gonna get the band hammer.
See. What is a good way to get more skilled with more detailed pixel art / drawings? I mean, I think we should definitely both answer this, but I think honestly, practicing your shading and your highlighting is crucial, because you block out shapes. Like if you were watching when we did the first set of monsters. I started with just, the basic blobs of shape, and And then I started refining, adding in, the highlights and the shadows, creating that kind of. Well, actually, let me pull it up while I talk about this. But creating these different layers of colors to create texture. You're breaking up the texture as you go on with the piece. So I think how you learn that stuff is just. I mean, what's better than practice? I don't really know what else is better than practice, but get acquainted to like your pixel resolution sizing. So like these monsters are being done in 42 by 42 pixel sized canvases, but you can start a lot smaller. Like my game is based in a 16 by 16 palette, and then there you have a few more crucial, important objects like the monsters in the battles that are more detailed, but you can still get in a lot of detail at a 16 by 16 or a 24 by 24. It's all about how you use your space, and trying to actually fill in that space as best as you can.
I completely agree.
Right. Get started.
Let's see. I'm right now. The band. Holy moly. Helper Wesley, thanks for stopping by, dude. I really enjoy your G-Develop videos. I've been watching them. When I did my last G-Develop video, I watched a couple of your tutorials, so. What code language should I use in Godot? I mean, you can use whatever you're most comfortable with, but GD script is so easy. Like, and it just works better with the engine because it's made for it. So that's what I use. But if you want to use C# or C++ or whatever, like that's totally up to you. And then let's see. Goodgis, how do you get people to see your game? Is Facebook a good idea? The thing about Facebook is like I feel like the target audience of people that game aren't on Facebook as much nowadays. I could be wrong, so I'm like, don't take me my word for that. But what I like to use is Twitter. I think Twitter is a great. Twitter can be accessible sometimes with the some of the things that are on there, and it's a very emotional platform where you do well if you start controversy. But there is a lot of talented artists and game developers on there, and it's still one of my favorite platforms for seeing new games and marketing my own games. So, someone said, "Goodgis, what size does Grease use?" I think he meant Reese, but you literally just said it. So you said 48 by 48.
42 by 42.
42 by 42. Okay.
For the monsters, but the entire rest of the game is based in a 16 by 16 palette.
Okay.
So it's interchangeable.
I use 8 by 8, and well, actually, I just kind of 8 by 8 is the grid, but and Poe is like around that size. He's like 5 by 9 or something. He's so small. So I just try to make enemies and stuff that fit him. So Goodgis/Reese, how do I market my game? I'm begging for your help, please. Best way to market your game is to show it off. So whether that's on Reddit, whether that's on Twitter, whether that's at some convention, the only reason we've been able to do what we're doing is just because we made videos. We're not any better at developing games than other people. There's actually way more talented people than us out there making games, but the reason we've had so much success is completely because of you guys. You guys have watching the channel and supporting us is how we've made this a reality, and so it all comes down to having that community and having people around you and sharing your games. So it can be scary because people can be really rude about things. People don't know how to give constructive feedback. They're just nasty about it sometimes. So, but if you want to get your game out there, the best way is share it. And sometimes that means you have to make your screenshots look really nice and juicy. So I think Jonas Tyroller calls it focus on your vertical slice of your game. Just one portion of the game that you just get really nice and finished. and then share it on social media, show it off, and then get people's feedback. Like, do they like the art style? Do they think the game looks cool? I just did that with Dewdrop the other day, and I got like 100 followers in one day from it. So it all comes down to, if people like it and they're interested in it, they'll find it. So whoa, we're getting, guys, children, do not look at those bots. Do not click those links. We're being it wouldn't be a game dev live stream without getting spam bots, right? That's just like classic at this point. Thomas says Reese is greased lightning. This is true.
It is true. That is true. Also, real quick, what kind of gun is this guy used? The stump.
So his gun is like it's like a Mega Buster, like a Mega Man. The little Student boy has like a arm cannon, like Metroid or something. I have to say, Albeck is a little challenging because the depth is very strange, like, because it's such a side view that I'm trying something different here. I'm trying to do more of like a 3/4 view of the monster. Of the monster. People on Facebook are moms. They can be. I think that the demographic on Facebook tends to be a lot older. So, and I mean, it depends on what you're trying to, if you're making like a World War II simulator game, then maybe that is a good place to advertise it, you know, if you have an older demographic. I'm sure I just offended like 40 people, but that still use Facebook. But I just think in general, statistically, Twitter and Reddit and stuff like that, I'm not a personally I'm not a fan of Reddit at all. You could do TikTok as well. Personally, I'm not a fan of TikTok as well because I'm just not in. I'm too much of a boomer to use TikTok. But just find a platform where there's find a platform like that and just focus on it. Don't try to build up like 12 platforms at once though, because that can get very challenging to try to. You're trying to grow your social media on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. All this stuff is too much. So
yeah, for sure.
All right, let's find.
Yeah, here's the vibe. The vibe is go a completely different direction, and instead of chibi, little chunky, wooden stump guy, decided, you know, what would this guy look like if he was a monster in Monster Tribe? And that is slender, and the complete opposite approach, going for a more slender design. And I really want to work out kind of like a twisted, like a willow, almost like a willow.
Ooh, I like that.
Or something of that sort. And so I'm trying to work in this kind of like slender proportion with like maybe kind of like the knots in the way that like a roots, I guess, like roots kind of combining together, which I'll get to in a sec. Haven't done that yet, but that's kind of the idea I have in mind. We're a little far away from that at the current moment in time.
Hey, everything's a process.
So we'll get there.
Let's see. Reddit has so many insufferable know-it-alls. Yeah, there's Reddit is it's become a meme of just like the Redditors and like, well, like you can't have an opinion at all on the internet these days. Like if you have an opinion, you will get shut down. I mean, Twitter's guilty of that too. I see that all the time. People are like talking on Twitter about how they're so mad about something. It's like, who cares? Like, just because someone does something that you disagree with doesn't mean you have to like rant about it. So I don't know. It all comes down to what I think social media can be very what's the word? I've used social media as like it drains your soul. The more you use it, the more it drains your soul. So whatever platform you use, like use it and then move on with your life. Like don't focus too much on like the stats, because it can be pretty depressing if you focus too much on the stats and the numbers. And so I don't have like any personal social media, just because I don't know, just not a big fan. But Josh says people get too offended too easily these days. Yeah, it is true. I mean, I think people should just be nice. Like if you're nice and you're not trying to start a fight, like fights don't get started. It's amazing. It's almost like that's what we should be doing. But it is what it is. The best thing to do when someone gets outraged and stuff is just not to say anything. Like don't make some cringe tweet of being like, oh, you're wrong and I'm right. I love, Sonic Adventures 2 is the worst game or something like that. Like I literally had someone debate that. They were like so angry with me. They were like, Sonic Adventures 2 is terrible. I'm like, that's fine. I enjoy it. Like if you don't like it, don't play it. So, okay. Helper Wesley says, sorry to ask again, but Reese doesn't use the preview window to see the image zoomed out. Is there a reason for that?
I actually do. Unfortunately, here, let me show. Let me try to show that on screen. So, unfortunately, if I use the preview tab, it kind of takes up half my screen. I have to edit, or I have to draw. I guess you also have to do this as well, but we have to basically draw with half the screen. So normally I always have my preview tab up, but unfortunately I just don't have the space. So I have to constantly kind of zoom out to see from afar. But it's a very handy tool when you can use it.
It's adding to the challenge. We thought it would be too easy if we could see while we're doing pixel art.
Adding to the challenge.
You'll notice even though with my preview window, I still zoom in and out constantly, just because it just gives you a fresh perspective on it. So, all right. Goodgis, I literally just said that about social media. Social media is bad. Only use it to promote your games, nothing else. Yeah, it's the catch-22. It's like, it's awesome because you can talk with people from around the world. I mean, Reese and I wouldn't be friends if it wasn't for social media. So there's so much good with social media, but when it becomes an issue is when people are out in public, and instead of being social and talking to people, they're on their phones. Like that's when it becomes anti-social media. So not to sound like I'm like preaching about the woes of social media while you're watching us stream on YouTube making pixel art, so chatting over online. So I think everything's good in moderation, but it's just sad because there's like a lot of people, suicide rates have gone up and stuff because of the like button. So it's crazy how something as simple as that can be deadly to people. So I forgot what monster Goodgis is drawing is called. Is it Olmec? It's Albeck.
Albeck, yep.
Albeck. I'm kind of like jumped back to the other monster real quick because I didn't add outlines and it's bothering me. So this is like, just ignore this. Ignore what I'm doing. Nothing's happening. Reese, how did you come up with Albeck?
I come up with Albeck. Honestly, this was, again, as I said earlier, this was a monster I created about maybe 4 years ago. I think for Albeck, that one was just a design I couldn't get out of my head. I've been a very visual person for most of my life, I would say. And when I started originally drawing monster designs, there was just certain designs that just stuck in my head as kind of things that I almost imagine as, maybe what a Pokemon would look like if I created a Pokemon or, something of that nature. And we mentioned this earlier actually in the stream, but I'm a huge fan of slender, sharp designs. And with Petunka, monster from Dewdrop.
I love that name.
And yeah, so it's just been like it's just been a thing, you know, and I think Owlback kind of has those same kind of features, you know, very slender with the wings, very like spiky with the wings, and the front of the head, that kind of, what do you call that, the frill on the top of its head. Everything about it is very aerodynamic feel. And yeah, so from my head, that might not be the best way to describe it, but it's just, I love dragons. I love the color blue, and it's a segmented dragon with sharp features.
Yeah, it's a sweet design. And someone asked about Stadump. True story, I actually didn't design Stadump. It was designed by the lovely Bonzo Bean, who isn't on the stream today, but he's our concept artist. And when we first started Dewdrop Dynasty, he came up with some concepts, and that was one of the characters. So the dinosaur characters, like Champa, I made, but some of the like tree and spider characters are done by Bonzo. So shout out to him. I paused the show I was watching when I saw you were streaming, Goodgis. Welcome to the stream. You got double the goodness. You got Reese and Goodgis. So
It's a lot of goodness. It's a lot of goodness.
Goodgis, what happened to the egg game? The egg game cracked. I don't know. I'm trying to think of an egg pun. I just I stopped working on it because I couldn't actually program on stream. It was like the most stressful thing. I had all the artwork, and maybe what I'll do is I'll release the artwork in a free asset pack or something. But I find it's almost impossible to work on, like, to code and stream at the same time. So yeah, it's kind of makes me sad, but LGN Royal says, I think split screen is a great idea. Never seen anyone do something like this. Well, kudos to Reese, because we kind of did it on his stream about like a year ago or something. I don't even remember.
Yeah, last year we did this.
So we tried to perfect the setup this time. So
I think it looks way better than last time. I have to say, I think this looks pretty killer. We perfected it, man.
We did.
Got it down.
Tag team. I love this great small community. Yeah, I do too. I that's what I love about, like, people always ask about, like, what's your favorite part about YouTube? And it's honestly just the community. I love talking with you guys. I love meeting new people, hopping on voice chats with you guys. We did a Discord community night where we played a game, and I literally had like 50 people jump on the call at once, and it was awesome. Like, so I love talking with you guys. I love the game dev community just in general. It's just cool that there's a lot of like-minded people that are we all love the same things, and we're all trying to have the same goals. So where should I share my pixel art? You can tweet at us at Goodgis with 3 O's, because someone took the one with 2. You can, if you're either on Reese's or my Discord, you can put it in the share your art section, and just let us know where you put it, and we'll maybe I'll try to pull some up if I can. Pixel the Cuber says, Goodgis, what inspired you to make Dewdrop? What inspired me to make Dewdrop is I wanted to make a short game that I could finish in a month, and 3 years later, that's obviously not the case. I wanted to create. It's funny because I'm making a Metroidvania, but there's parts, like, I'm as a whole, I don't really love Metroidvanias except for like Cave Story. And like I said, Legend of Zelda is a Metroidvania. Basically, it's the same idea. You're exploring this world, and like, if you view a Zelda dungeon, it's a Metroidvania. So I do love the puzzle part and exploration. So yeah, it started out as a small game, and it's slowly evolved into something much bigger. But it's gonna be awesome. I was getting a little insecure about, like, man, people aren't gonna like it because it's gonna be the weirdest Metroidvania. But that's what you want. You don't want to make a game that already exists. You want to make something that's new and has, it's fresh. Otherwise, because I could just make a copy of Metroid, and that's great, but Metroid already exists, so I'm just making a copy. So you should try to make something, find a genre, and try to do a weird take on it. That's kind of what I've done. So Rip egg game, may its grave lie. Yeah, maybe we'll revive that when I have some free time. Let's see. Goodgis, I just started working on my first game ever. Really liked your video about level design, and I'm very much looking forward to playing Dewdrop. Waffle Hund, thank you so much for the kind words. That's super exciting. I wish you the best of luck with your game. That's like such an awesome feeling working on your first game. So, congratulations. I think I'm done with my design. So this is kind of unfair because my artwork is. We mentioned this earlier, but if you're just hopping on now, as you can tell, the amount of shading that goes into my art style, at least for Dewdrop, and Reese's art style is a little bit different. So, let's see.
Fine. I mean, I'm. This is basically, I guess, the concept. I like. For me, I never really get anything done one shot. Like I always go back, kind of redesign things, tweak things. So honestly, I think this is a decent concept, I guess, of what I had in mind. Perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it's fine.
I think it's awesome you go back in your designs and improve them. I literally just like one shot stuff. I'm like, I go from 0 to 100%, which is great, but it's not great because it only works when you have the inspiration. So, someone asked, Reese, what is the best pixel art design program in your opinion? I'm trying to find a good place to start off.
Place to start off. Actually, there's a couple. I think it's called. Let me look this up for confirmation. There's pixelart.com. I'll send it in the chat. It's spelled with a Pixi. That this is a good one. I think it for me, I'm basically trying to find anything that kind of resembles Aseprite, just because I personally love Aseprite, and I think that. And the reason I use it is because for me, it's the best tool. And I think it's, the best thing on the market. Everyone has their preferences, but that's just my personal opinion. And yeah, so I think pixel art is quite similar-esque. They have a lot of the same features and stuff like that. So that's the thing that I found it's easiest for me going to like a free program to kind of use. But I mean, honestly, anything. Like, I think Goodgis will agree with me here. I think pretty much anything you use is gonna work out for you because pixel art, at its core, it's always the same, right? Like in digital drawing, you could have completely different brush strokes from different applications, and that's gonna create different styles in your art. But for pixel art, every pixel is the same, whether you use Aseprite, whether you use pixel art or whatever other engine you use, it's kind of the same thing. So
yeah, I completely agree. I think that sometimes the software people think the software is super important, and it really Stardew Valley was made in paint.net, so like it really comes down to preference. Now, I will say Aseprite does have a super nice variety of tools that are super effective. Like I've been using them, Aseprite, literally just for doing quick outlining for my artwork in Dewdrop. The reason I use Pixel Edit is just I'm really comfortable with it, and especially for tiles, it works so fast, and I like the way animations work in it. So it's just purely a preference thing. So try it out and see what you like the most. And that's really what it comes down to. So, all right, I think, yeah, let's show off our designs here, because then we have one last challenge here, and this is the biggest part of the challenge here. So
big challenge.
The big challenge. So let's see. There we go. Here are the monsters that we created. You can see the different take. I do love the skinny version. I love the crooked body. It's very interesting. someone's asking what that's on Stadump's arm, and that's his gun. He's got like a Mega Buster, like shooty gun thing. Bongaroo, you have to go, but thank you so much for stopping by. The stream will be on the past stream playlist, so you can always check it out afterwards. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, dude. Godot. The problem is, okay, I'm Goodgis, and then I use Godot, and they're so similar sometimes. I mix them up all the time. Goodgis, can you make a video on how to use Godot? I've thought about making tutorial videos. If I do make a video, I'll probably make a class on Udemy or something, but that won't be till down the road, because I have to finish Dewdrop, and that's a job in itself. So, okay, so yeah, these are beautiful. These turn out really nice. I'm quite impressed, Reese. You translate the characters well, and I kind of, for the second design for Allbeck or whatever, I tried to, yeah, like I said, do a 3/4 angle instead of the side-on view, and I think it's kind of an interesting perspective. I don't know if that's exactly how the character is, but it's like a chibi version.
Yeah, no, you did a great job, I think, and it's, yeah, like the perspective of that one, very, very side-on, so think with the information you had, right, it's spot on.
Turned out beautiful. So all right, guys, we're gonna be doing the last challenge of the day, and this is the most intense part of it, because we've made two enemies, but they need to be in an environment. So now we're going to try to recreate a location from the game. So Reese is going to be recreating one of the Dewdrop locations in his style, and vice versa. So let me pull this up. This one's going to be a bigger pull because we have 4 locations. So let me pull this up, and no pun intended, and we'll get started. So for this poll, I'm just going to put numbers in. What? Or maybe I won't. Location should. All right. We got the pits. We got Sleepy Deepies. We got the Giant's Grotto. It's the dinosaur location. And we got Pipe World. I think I did that out of order, but that's okay. Pipe World is the world's best amusement park. So let's see. All right. Oh, they're still on screen. Oops. You didn't see them. Hold on.
The little characters.
I'll animate them for you.
Oh man, this is a tough one.
Yeah, what's gonna be interesting is, like, there isn't a whole lot to work with. Especially like Sleepy Deepies. The pits, that's a terrible screenshot, so good luck.
Yeah, this is definitely the hardest part of the challenge.
Yeah.
Creating an environment. I think for both of us, because we're just working off of one screenshot. And obviously there's a lot more to both areas, or like to all of the areas in both games than we're showing in these screenshots. But I guess that's kind of a part of this challenge, is just interpreting what we see, and creating some kind of environment out of it. So
it'll be interesting for sure.
Giant's Grotto is definitely winning, which honestly I think that's the one that I know the least. That's the one I had, like, I don't really have an idea for this one necessarily. Might be a little bit tricky, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, actually, shout out to Kiwi in the chat. She did a lot of the environment design for Giant's Grotto, so huge shout out to her. Goodgis, have you added any fan ideas to Dewdrop? I probably have. I just don't remember what I added. So I try to take your guys' suggestions, but at the same time, for legal reasons, I also try not to sometimes, because if you guys have a really good idea and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take that, then that's, you should get some sort of credit or kickback for that. So That's why I try. All right, we still have 20 or 30 people that need to vote. This can change it. People really seem to like Giant's Grotto. Maybe because it's new, and we were making dinosaurs, so maybe it was we subconsciously forced people to pick it. Goodgis, I'm working on a Metroidvania, and I've been stuck on level design. I watched your video, and it helped me out a lot, but I'm stuck on how to place each tile in. I mean, it all comes down to the way you want to do it. Like, if you want to place it in, you could lay out like blocks and then put the tiles there, or you can have tiles with collisions. It really comes down to your game engine, and you're gonna have to look up what to do specifically for that. So Giant's Grotto just looks the coolest. Yeah, it's probably, see, it does have the best artwork, and I'm Pipe World and Sleepy Deepies and the pits, that's actually old artwork for the pits. So Pipe World and Sleepy Deepies is gonna get a revamp at some point for sure, but Giant's Grotto was just like, that artwork was just made like last week. So Sleepy, oh, here we go. It's Sleepy Deepies is going up.
It's coming, man. It's possible. We could get a swap of vote here.
Let's see. Gameplay elements or mechanics can't be copyrighted, so you can use whatever your fans give you legally. Well, yeah, it's not that, but it's like, if someone says like, hey, Goodgis, you should have this character named John, and he should be in Pipe World, and he's a boss that you fight, and he's a giant mole, and whatever, like, gives all this detail. If I take that and don't credit or do something about it, it feels weird because that is someone's idea. Now, if you guys suggest stuff, I do, like a lot of the NPCs and enemies, actually, like Champa, we made on stream. You guys, help inspire that design, and a lot of the NPCs and stuff for the Giant's Grotto and Sleepy Deepies. So it's not that I don't do it, but I just try to do it the right way. Ooh, it's neck and neck, but I think it might be Giant's Grotto, which is making Reese sweat. I know it. Just know, okay, it's a jungle. It's a jungle with dinosaurs. And there's ruins there. If you just think about it that way, maybe it's less intimidating. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm calling it there. The Giant's Grotto. All right.
Dude, I'm terrified.
Now
terrified.
Now it's time for me. All right, here we go.
Grotto.
All right, so for me, there is the Charred Sanctums. I just wrote Snackdums. Sanctums. There is the, what is Sock Mines? Is that right?
The Scott Mines.
Is Cot? Why did I say Sock? Iscot Mines, and then, or maybe because I saw the Nisak ruins or whatever. Nisak ruins. And then we have the Water Temple.
I couldn't pick which temple to do, but you know.
I'm glad you picked the Water Temple.
Figured it might add some variety, help you out a little bit.
I appreciate it. Yeah, giving me a challenge. All right, friends. What would you like to see me make or struggle with? Goodgis, Benjamin, thanks. I think after stream I'll try out a couple methods. Also, Benjamin, is there an easier way to manually do it besides moving objects with the move tool? That's a great. The Mines guys. Whenever I'm on Godot on my computer, it says at risk if I open. Is that usual? Yeah, there's no malware. People always get scared, like, Goodgis trying to give me download malware on my computer. I promise there's no malware. I think. I hope. I pray. Goodgis, what would you do to keep people on your videos? Wait, what do you mean? What would I do to keep you? Like, to keep watching, or?
I think like engagement.
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. Like, it's always like YouTube is never like something you just like, oh, I figured it out, I'm successful. It's like every week, every month, you have to learn something new. So it's definitely not easy, and it evolves. And there's always that fear that you're gonna like stay where you're at. So, but as long as you try new things and push, you'll do well. So, bacon pancakes. I voted on one and it says 0%. Lol. That's sad.
Don't worry, it's in the lead. It's got 34% votes.
It's water temples. Oh. We still got about 20-30 votes left. Goodgis, what do you and Reese enjoy about making pixel art the most? For me, it's so relaxing to do it. I can jam out to some music. I can talk with friends. I do a lot of singing, like karaoke when I'm working. That's how I work best. So I just like it because it's so creative. It's almost like second nature where you don't have to think about it too much, which is really nice. It counteracts coding. So yeah, it's very therapeutic, and there's like instant dopamine, like healthy dopamine, because you make something that you're proud of and you're like, wow, I made this. So I think that's what I take away from it. What about yourself, Reese?
Definitely two things. There's the aspect of, the freedom expression, and like the ability to literally create anything you want to create. I think that's not pixel art specific, that's more of an art thing in general, but that's something I always wanted to do. I was never an artist growing up at all in any way, and I always thought it was so cool to see artists create things, create anything in whatever style or they learned or whatever it is. So definitely just the kind of freedom of expression. Also, I feel like, at least for me, it's like the hardest skill I do, and because there's no real like end goal there. You can always get better and improve on your skills, but pixel art's something that I found was, or just art in general, I guess. Like, it's just doesn't come natural to me, so it's like the hardest thing for me to actually improve at, like video editing or programming or whatever, skateboarding, gymnastics, like all these things, yes, are a little bit more accessible for me to do. Art is not. So yeah, it's a challenge. It's the biggest challenge in my life, I would say. Yeah. Kind of the opposite of you, Mark. It's like you're like, oh, it's relaxing and it's fun to do, and I'm like, this thing is tough. I feel like every time I go to pixel art, it's like I'm challenging myself, and that's good, right? That's a good thing. But yeah, we get different ideas of fun from the skill.
Yeah, it's true. It is a challenge for sure. It can be. I think, but after you do it so long, you do get to a level of comfort that I think it becomes fun. But I do remember I used to be really frustrated with design because I'm like, oh, I just want to be better. So there is this like sense of improving yourself, improving your skill, and there's a competitiveness. But I mean, at least for Dewdrop artwork, there's not. Like, it's one of those things that's so laid back that it almost utilizes a different type of skill. So all right, the votes are in. Shard Sanctums is the winner. So we got a jungle and a fiery location, so this is gonna be interesting. Also,
so think dead. A lot of dead trees, a lot of red forestation, I guess. And let's see if there's anything else I can kind of point on. Stone torches. Okay. And some Japanese-esque red shrines. Okay. I think that's all the biggest focuses that I would give you.
So red, dead, rock torches, and Tories. I got it. Also, Polymars, you didn't hear our talk about social media earlier, did you? You said, get my dopamine from TikTok. Hot Chocolate asked, Goodgis name reveal. It's never been a surprise. My name's Mark, so. Do you know Danny?
My bad on that one.
Yeah, Reese, what's your name?
Man, I don't know. I'm kind of waiting for 100,000 subscribers to reveal my name.
Yes.
I'm a very private person, so.
I wish I knew your last name as well. One of these days.
100,000 subscribers. I'll let you guys know what my first name is.
Goodgis, tell Grease he's sus, and do you know who Danny is? Why is that becoming a nickname? Grease? Don't know how I feel about that. I've never met Danny. Reese, you've met Danny before, have you?
Yeah.
Seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, but he's been he's very missing in action lately.
It's probably just because of the stress of performance stress, you know? It's hard to like make videos all the time and keep them interesting, especially when you have a big following, and then working on a big game and the pressure and the expectations people have. So I definitely feel for him.
Yeah, I need some clarification here before I start drawing this. So the bottom of the Giant's Grotto screenshot here, it's the same as the water in Pipe World. Is that like some kind of like green acid, or
it's just swamp water? It's poisonous swamp water. So
okay, perfect. All right, the entire level is engrossed with poisonous water. That's good to know.
Let me someone's asking if we're gonna show the reference. I will pull it up on, I'll put it in the corner. It's gonna be pretty small, but also if you hear the Monster Tribe music, I'm definitely not on the Steam page right now, and you should definitely not go over there and wishlist it right now. So wink wink. All right, let's oops, I need to save this. I can't get over. Dude, I feel like you always get the weirdest nicknames on streams.
Yeah, what's going on?
All right, here we go. So we're gonna add this. The charred sanctums. Here we go. I'm gonna have to like make it really small, but just know it's there. All right, and then the Giant's Grotto. Actually, that's the first track that Peter, our composer, has been working on, his Giant's Grotto, and it is bumping.
I'm so excited. Like for me, I think music is just such a big driving point in like the authenticity of the game. I don't know. I love the music in video games, like specifically. I'm really excited to see how the Dewdrop OST comes along.
Yeah,
what do you guys think? What's like, I guess, question for the audience. What do you think is like the most, other than the actual, like the game, like the main like gameplay loop, like what is the most important aspect in a video game, or something that you find extremely important? Is that the art style, or the color palette, or the music, sound effects? It's something that just like catches you into falling in love with a certain game.
Yeah, that is a great question. I do feel like the OST of a game is literally, it can make or break a game. Like it's the emotion, the mood to the game. and it's so critical. And so it's the most exciting thing to actually like hear the music for the game, especially after working all these years. And like I composed a couple tracks in the past, just kind of get a feel if I wanted to do the OST or have someone else do it. And it's just so cool to finally hear it. Because yeah, like I don't know, man, it just feels like it's like some of my best moments in life are listening to some classic nostalgic video game music that I grew up playing, and like I'm listening to right now. So it's so crucial. But let's see what the chat says. Art style 100%. Someone says hi Mark versus Grease. Oh boy. For me, the most important thing is controller, playability, then the concept, then the graphic experience, then music. Goodgis, Grease's real name is Grease Geofroy. I'm so sorry.
Didn't know.
This is
Is it?
This has become the staple of just destroying Reese's name on stream. Okay. What's really interesting is gonna be translating all these like top-down tiles here, because I guess you have trees and the torches, so that is a big deal. Is the charred sanctums or whatever, is it outdoors? It looks outdoors.
Yep.
Okay.
Outdoors.
Let me cheat real quick. I'm looking at another screenshot. Okay, so it has rock. Okay. We'll do that. Reese's Puff. Okay, Reese, I don't think I've ever told you this, but whenever Kiwi and I are talking and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna chat with Reese today, I always say I'm gonna talk with Reese's Pieces. That's what it's my pet name for you.
Well, it happens. I've gotten that all of my childhood.
I'm sure you have, yeah.
We're good. Don't worry.
I had a friend whose last name was Price, and I used to call him Fisher, Fisher Price, and he didn't like it. So as one would imagine, but don't tell anyone that nickname. That's just between me and Reese. All right, let's see. All right. So now it's just.
I can't wait to like detail this map.
Yeah, that's the fun part, is kind of blocking things out. I'm trying to make these tiles here, because that's kind of like the bulk of this area. Let's do that, yeah. Fisher Price was a really good book, though. Goodgis equals Marcus, and it kind of sounds like Marcus. It's true. Goodgis, are you going to review some art from Discord Live? Some people tried doing the same challenge with you at the same time. Yes, when we're done with this, I would love to hop on to the Discord and check to see if anyone submitted anything, and I would for sure love to highlight your guys' work. I got to figure out how I'm going to do it, but we'll figure it out. Let's see. Okay, I gotta add some grass. I'm gonna add a fire rabbit in the background. I'm kidding. Let's do that. Okay. Let's do that. We have to. Okay, here's where things get tricky. It's you want to have a pattern. You want to have like. You want to pattern your artwork, but then you don't want it to be too patterned where it's obvious that it's a pattern. So it's just like catch-22 here. So let's do this and do that. Start with a good old block here. Don't tell people what nickname, okay? Stop reading my mind. I was thinking of Mark Giss as well. I'm rooting for Capri Sun, personally. Wow. Have you gotten that one before, Reese?
Never in my life.
When I first heard about Goodgis, I thought it was going to be a channel about geographic information systems. Why? Is that what that... I don't know. That's weird. Goodgis. Goodgis sounds like good geese. It kind of... Good geese? People... Okay, so there's people in the chat every once in a while that will like... They will misspell my name. I don't know if it's intentionally or on purpose, but they'll write like Googie. Like, oh, Googie didn't read my comment. And I think that's the funniest thing, Googie. Googie. All right.
Dude, trying to create like ripples, very difficult. Trying to create like depth on a 2D plane.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Good luck with that.
Oh man.
There we go. We got that. We got the grass. Good
I
geese.
might just delete all this.
Goodgis is Reese's Puff gonna do a voice reveal. I don't even know what that means. Goodgis is a goose, confirmed. Yes, I am.
It's true.
Goosegis.
I did know that one.
Goosegis. That's so hard to say. Okay, so we're gonna add a little bit of oomph to this, because a little bit of oomph never hurt anyone. Gonna add that. And then we need to make this pattern a little bit better. This is where all the focus is. This is like all the energy is, it's focused towards making this environment, because it's tricky. Like environments are probably, they're fun to make, but at least maybe it's just for Dewdrop, but like because of how limited the art style is and it's 8x8 grid, it's really hard to make something fresh all the time with it. So
yeah. Yep. I mean, environments are very difficult, I think, and I mean, I'm having a tough time here trying to figure out how to like create like, I guess like varied tile set. Like that can be pretty tricky.
yeah. Let's do, you know, I don't know if I'm loving the grass there. We're just gonna make that solid. I think that's better. And then I'm gonna hide the monsters, because Goodgis rhymes with cheese. What? What? Get out of here. What are you saying? Rhymes with cheese.
Cheese mines. See cheese mines in the chat.
Cheese mines. Funny skeleton man. What? Goodgis, you should play Undertale music. I just have a general relaxing Nintendo playlist, but maybe next time I'll play Undertale. It's funny, I used to play this lo-fi that was like, it was like free for anyone to use, like no monetization, or yeah, you didn't have to give credit. It just was like, you could play this royalty free. That's the word I'm looking for. And then out of the blue, I got copyright claims in all my live streams because of that. For some reason, somehow.
Oh, you know what? That happened to me too, actually.
Yeah.
It's very devastating.
So.
Very devastating.
I don't really like, it doesn't bother me that much, because I don't really like monetizing streams isn't like that big of a deal, because I do streams to chat with you guys. I don't do streams to make it rich or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't Undertale melody claimed? I don't know. Hey, what's up, Rye? How you doing? Googie and Geese Rio Free are my favorite game dev YouTubers. Goodgis, have you played Risk of Rain 2 or Risk of Rain 1? I actually have played Risk of Rain 2. Reese and I used to play it with Andrew and with Bargy back in the day. That's actually how I met Bargy. So it's a fun game, but we haven't played it in a while. And we were never good at it either because we were too busy chatting, which honestly I was okay with. I enjoy chatting, so.
Speaking of, I was actually talking to Andrew about that. I think we got to start playing some games again, man.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
I was just chatting with him the other day. He was doing a live stream on Twitch, and I mentioned that we got to do it again because it just that's one of the things I love about doing YouTube is you chat with you guys, and it's so inspiring. Like, I know it sounds weird to be inspired by other game devs when you're doing the same thing, like other videos, but you really are. It's like,
sure, yeah.
It's super exciting. Whoops, don't do that. Oh, I guess I should be looking at reference. That might be helpful. Okay, back tiles. All right. Any questions in the chat?
Hey guys, let's do some questions. Let's get some questions going.
Do some Q&A, and once we're finished with this, we'll look over the stuff that you guys submitted, and then we'll do a final like little Q&A if you guys have any questions. Specifically, do you guys have any questions about Monster Tribe or Dewdrop Dynasty? Do you have questions about general game dev questions? And I even like to throw in as a nice joke, if you have need dating advice, we'll give it. What do you guys think of Sonic Frontiers? You're the second person to ask that today. I think it's, you know what, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm kind of looking forward to it. I think visually it looks all right, but I feel the same way about the new Pokemon game. Like, I was seeing screenshots of the new Pokemon game, and I'm like, they really need to quit using their old engine, because some of the rendering stuff, like the render distance is a little sketchy on that. So but I still think the game's gonna be interesting. So will I buy it? I don't know. I'm trying to think. The last indie game I bought was Patch Quest, which is fantastic. Highly recommend that game. And then the last first party game I got is I can't even remember. Or like AAA game. It's probably Sword and Shield. I know the new Pokemon got announced, but I'm playing Sword and Shield now. Goodgis, will you make any DLC? Yeah, I might. That's something that I think it'd be cool to expand upon a game. But it all comes down to whether or not, like I mentioned this earlier, whether or not the game does well. Like, if Dewdrop sells like 50 copies, then it doesn't make sense to spend all that time and energy to work on it, as sad as that is. So it really comes down to you guys, is what I like to say.
On, guys. From Wishlist Dewdrop Dynasty right now.
Wishlist it right now. Yeah, actually, guys, if you want to wishlist the games, it helps us so much. Both Monster Tribe and Dewdrop are in the description. It doesn't cost you anything, and if you've done it already, awesome. Share it with your friends. Let them know about it. If you think someone might enjoy a like Pokemon style open world game, or a Metroidvania that's like based on humor, like comedy and punchy gameplay. So if that sounds like something you guys are interested in, definitely like share the word. The more the merrier. We got to hit that magic 10,000 wish list number. I know that's like become a meme, but it's so crucial. and I think Reese, you're pretty close to it.
Pretty close. I'm hoping. I haven't looked at the stats yet. We were in the IGN showcase last week. No, a few days ago.
Congrats. That's awesome.
I haven't. I'm purposely not looking at any kind of numbers or anything. So
that's smart. Yeah.
Hopefully we pass the little threshold there, 10K threshold. Getting close though.
That's awesome. I'm only like a third of the way there, or 30%. I'm sorry, not a third. I'm at 3,000 wishlist, guys. So I still need another 7,000 wishlist before it happens. So, oh no, the bots are back. Okay.
Bots are back.
Have you played Spelunky 2? I have not. I've played Spelunky 1, really enjoyed it, but I have not played Spelunky 2. It looks like a cool game. I have, oh, what's his name? Is it Eric Yu, the creator of Spelunky? I have one of his books, which is really, really cool. His story is really inspiring, how he got started with Spelunky and all that. So it's a good read. Reese, do you have any plans for DLC for Monster Tribe or any future games?
Plans for DLC? I'm gonna say probably not. Again, as Goodgis said, like if the game does really, really well, I will consider it. If it does very poorly, no. So it's kind of just up to current players. If in like 6 months or a year from now, if people are still playing the game, and I will definitely consider it. But honestly, at this point in time, I've been developing the game for 2.5 years. Pretty done with Monster Tribe. I love the game, and I think it's a great game. But obviously, if you're making a long-term project, eventually you kind of burn out of actually developing it. So yeah. I still have fun like playing it, but adding new features is not something that necessarily sounds exciting to me.
Yeah, there's that catch-22 of like, you work on a game and you have this connection with it, but yeah, it's hard finishing games, and I have a bad track record of doing it because it's just so hard. So I could definitely see that. I think, Reese, like after you take some time off and reflect and the game does well, I'm sure it will, and you come back, I think you'll have a lot of fun memories about it, because that's how I felt with the Keep. When I finished the Keep, I was like, whew, I'm good with board games for a while. And then after, like, I don't know, it did take me a long time. To be fair, I haven't made a board game since, but so maybe it's not looking good for you, Reese, but
no, I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay, but I don't know. I think how I want to develop games is very different now than when I was developing Monster Tribe originally. So we'll see. Not saying DLC is not a possibility, but it's pretty slim.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, this is coming along. What application are you using? I'm using Pixel Edit. Reese is using Sprite. There's links in the description if you want to check them out. They both cost money, though. You can get Sprite, you can get Libre Sprite if you compile it yourself. So, or I think there is a pre-compiled version somewhere. So you can get it free somehow, some way. But yeah, both are great. Honestly, thought this was a premiere earlier. No. If ever you see the little red dot icon in the description or in the title, it's a live stream. So let's see, gonna work on some pixel art while I watch. Very nice. That's what I used to love doing with streams, like hopping on while you would have a streamer working on or playing a game or catching shinies in Pokemon or something, and then I would do something in the background. It's just so chill. Okay. Let's see. I'm getting closer here. How are you feeling, Reese, about the your design so far?
Oh man, I'm feeling I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling like I'm gonna do some cheat codes here in a second.
Go for it.
Um, I think we'll be okay. So far, I've been kind of just making everything by hand. But you guys will see in a second. I'm gonna use some cheat codes to speed this process up a little bit. Which I do use in my real game.
Hey,
but
if you got a system
I'm
that works,
feeling pretty good.
yeah.
I'm feeling pretty good. I think once again, I'm kind of taking the concept of remake a little bit too far.
No, hey,
Again,
I think that's totally fine.
That's what this is all about.
I definitely took some more creative liberties on this one, just because in a top-down game, like having a ceiling is normally like something you don't want, but in a platformer, a ceiling is something that is nice, like having rooms. So I'm making this more of like a cave that goes out into the open, kind of. So it's a little bit different.
Actually, I haven't seen your drawing at all.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm refraining from checking out your drawing until you're finished.
I unfortunately have been like watching you. Well, I haven't been like paying too close attention, but I've been, your screen's been sharing this whole time, so been seeing it. So all right, wait, what news? Wait, hey, Goodgis stream, let's see. Xbox, yeah, I forgot, like E3. So, well, E3 didn't happen. I know it got canceled kind of, but there's been all those announcements recently. But yeah, I don't really play. I don't have an Xbox. I've never had an Xbox. So I'm not like super excited about that. But that's cool though. I'm hoping they do a Nintendo Direct here soon, because it has been quite some time. They should maybe have a Q&A after the art. Yeah, I normally chat after the art. We're let's see, where are we at time-wise? Shooting about over 2 hours, so not too bad. After this, yeah, we'll do a little bit of Q&A and just chat through some of your designs, and then we'll do a little dance. Okay, maybe not, but Reese will dance. I won't.
Excited for the dance. I'm excited for the dance.
I like how there's like this Japanese music playing, and I'm making this Torii gate. Japanese Torii gate while I'm doing it. It's perfect. That's not what I want. Excuse me? Okay, so that's on the wrong layer, which is that's no good. Gonna grab that, we're gonna throw it on the back layer. There we go. Sweet. The only problem that I'm seeing with this area is there's not enough variety in color. I like to have at least like 2 or 3 colors, like complementary colors. And normally what I do in Dewdrop is I'll do pixel art for an area, or have Kiwi do pixel art for an area, and then I'll bring it into Photoshop and I'll recolor it until it has like a really nice feel to it. So probably won't do that for this, but it's that's a nice little tip. Is if your art's feeling a little off, the colors are feeling off, you can just bring it into like, yeah, Photoshop or something. I like Photoshop because the color curves. So all right, do that, and now Goodgis, have you ever watched some Studio Ghibli films? Yes, I've seen all the Hayao Miyazaki films at least once, if not a couple times. They're really, honestly, they're beautiful films. I really like Porco Rosso. You know, I've seen them all. Spirited Away. I've actually seen Princess Mononoke in theaters. They showed it one time in theaters, which was near where I live, which was cool. But yeah, I don't watch as much like anime stuff anymore. I just I don't know, I just kind of got out of it. The last anime I watched was Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, and that's a great anime. Like, I know it's an older one, but it's so good. It's such a classic. classic animu. But yeah, I don't really watch a whole lot of anime. I just watch like nature documentaries now. I'm pretty tame, pretty boring. So I watch Ray Mears. I don't know if anyone watches that. So and Survivor Man. That's like my Survivor Man is like my favorite show. Okay, I've never done torches, so maybe I have. I don't know. Let's see. Have you ever watched Michael Reeves? I don't know if I have. I like modern TV. If you guys talk about modern TV shows, like I've seen nothing. I think a lot of modern TV is terrible. It's just
he's a YouTuber.
Like I'll watch TV, but it has to be like older shows because they're just better production quality. Like there's some horrible acting in TV that people are like, oh, this show's great, and the acting's literally horrendous. I'm like, so I
know what you mean.
Yeah, the standard for TV is just very low. Like even the Obi-Wan show, I've been watching that. Like some of the acting is just like they couldn't have cast anyone better. So for certain roles. So anywho. Goodgis, are you both from Canada? My brain seems to think Canadians do a lot of YouTube. If so, how do you feel about C11? I'm not Canadian, by the way. Well, you know, I am a Canadian. I've lived in Canada. I've lived in Canada for about 0.000% of my life now. I'm not a Canadian, but I'm as close as you can get to being to Canada, living in northern Ohio. So I'm just one big pond away from Reese. So I don't know much. There are a ton of Canadian YouTubers. Like, it's weird. I've noticed it recently. Like, it's just, I'm surprised how many Canadian YouTubers there are. Maybe it's just because the weather's bad, and so you guys just like make videos. I don't know. What is your perspective on that, Reese? Being a true Canadian.
I mean, I don't know why there would be like an increase, but I mean, no, I'm not too sure why there would be an increase actually. Maybe because you know what the reason is? You know what the reason actually is? The reason is because when you're in Canada's basically like the States, but like don't have as much. We don't have as many like TV shows and these big things in the media. So maybe YouTube is like our way of reaching fame. Because there's no TV shows here.
That's true.
Nothing that gets casted here.
You don't have any like Hollywood equivalent there, so that does make sense. Yeah.
Not really.
But it's weird because there's a lot of
maybe that's the reason.
There's a lot of like documentaries and like Survivor Man, like that show. He's Canadian, so he's from Northern Ontario. So it's kind of interesting to me. It's almost like, I don't know. It just feels like you guys are bored, and so you make YouTube videos, which is awesome. But oh crap.
Maybe.
This is I should retell the stream to Goodgis offends all the Canadians. No. Let's see. All right, got some torches here. Torchlight 2. No, I'm just kidding. I've only played Torchlight 2 like once. Okay, let's fix that. Goodgis, what palette is Reese using? Reese, what palette are you using?
I'm using AAP Splendor 128, and it's definitely one that I use quite a bit when I'm making Monster Trap. I kind of flip back and forth. It's pretty bad. The problem is like I have a very, very large color palette for this game, and that's something for me. Like I talked about it earlier. Keep your colors consistent. Yeah, do as I say, not as I do, because when I originally created this game 2 years ago, I didn't understand color theory, and so I used like 3 or 4 different color palettes, and so I just have this huge huge arsenal of different colors that I use. Since then, I've tried to keep as consistent as possible, but I mean, that's a pretty big color palette. So.
That's a good point. Goodgis, how did you make Fantasy World? I tried to make an online game in Construct 3, but it didn't go so well. Construct 3 is a little bit harder because they removed a lot of the plugin support. So I had like a Firebase plugin, and I had different, even just for Ajax requests and stuff like that, like certain things I was actually using like plugins for. So it was just trial and error, and to be honest, I don't recommend it for like large scale games because it's not good. It's like, if you want to make something for a friend to just play, like by all means use it. But after using Godot, I've already been doing prototypes in Godot. Like, it works so well. It is a little bit harder. It's a little bit trickier to learn, but I actually have a MMO prototype that is working really well. I just can't work on it because Dewdrop's not finished. So after Dewdrop is done and Blizzard Blowout are done, most likely I'm gonna be working on an MMO. So that's like the next step on my journey. But yeah, so I mean, they're hard, and it all comes down to networking too. Like you gotta take the time. There's a lot of reading, and you can't rush it. You have to like read the manual. So if you didn't read your manual all the way, which it sounds you might probably didn't if you weren't able to figure it out, because yeah, reading the manual is super important. Okay, I'm gonna make Albeck.
I'm almost done here.
Yeah, same. I think I am done. Let me just try it. Oops. Let's just add a little bit of detail on the tree here. Yeah, this is the secret area in Dewdrop that no one knows about. There we go. Let's. I think I'm done. All right. So if you guys have any questions right now, we were a little focused here. When you're making environments, it's definitely a lot more attention heavy. Like you have to.
Yeah, for sure.
So any questions that you guys just asked that we missed, feel free to pop them in the chat right now. I'm gonna try to pull up some of your guys' work, and then we'll just finish up with any final questions, and we'll show off our piece. So let me. Ooh, I'm trying to think of the best way of doing this.
Oh man.
Let me.
Oh man, dude, do you have like a screenshot of your UI for Dewdrop?
I do. It's a flower, and then it's like a gun, like a revolver. It used to be hearts, but then I changed that out. Okay, so let's.
I see hearts and a little like bumblebee thing.
Yeah, that's the old UI.
What? It's fine. We got it. I'm gonna do the old UI. Simple enough. We'll stick with the old UI.
Let's see. Okay, let me go to. Okay, I'm gonna be looking in share your art. Here we go. Oh, beautiful. Whoa. Okay, this is pretty sweet here. We'll have to share. Whoa. Okay. I'm after we finish up here, I'll share this tab here, because this is pretty awesome what you guys made. So let me check and make sure no one else no one tweeted or anything. Okay, so let's answer some questions. You should put in the main characters too. Yeah, we were, and I totally forgot about it, but that's fine. You don't need to see. Reese, does your main character have a name?
He does.
Callian. Wait, what is it?
Callian.
Callian. Callian and Poe.
It's a weird one. It's a weird one.
I thought you said Italian at first. And I'm like, that's a very strange. Let's see. Okay, what's a good Udemy or YouTuber to watch for Godot tutorials? Check out Garbage used to do some really good Godot tutorials, but he took down a couple of them. Game Development Center is great for like making online games. Games from Scratch is great. Like literally, if you look up Godot tutorial, like most of the people making those tutorials are like phenomenal. So just check it out. Like seriously, just search for it and you'll find it. There's so many great people doing Godot tutorials. That's why people are like, I don't know how to learn. I'm like, how did I learn it then? I just watched some tutorials. So have you shared any Scratch games? I actually haven't messed around with Scratch at all. Maybe once. Do you have any advice on making bigger pixel art? Oof. I don't know. I purposely don't use bigger pixel art in my games just because it takes so much time. I have done it in the past. I think the standard is higher when you do that. Like, you have to really push yourself to make something at a higher resolution. It takes way more time, takes more energy. If your art style isn't consistent, then it just looks strange. So it is it's a tricky one, but the main thing is just try to keep your stuff consistent. Don't watch like 5 different tutorials and make your art of 5 different tutorials. Like, you want to kind of develop a style. Goodgis, can you show the art on stream? Which art? This art? This is the final art of everything we made. Oh, the fan art.
I made
I'm
a
sorry.
mistake here.
The fan art. We will show the fan art in a second, after Reese fixes his mistake.
I made a very fatal error here.
Fatal error.
All right.
I've never seen a game dev channel finish that many games. Wait, that's because games take like 4 or 5 years to make. Now, think about it. Jonas. It took him 4 years to finish Will You Snail, and for like a good chunk of that, he was doing it full time. And even Reese you've been working full time. But like in my case, like Dewdrop, I do it part time. So I may work on it like 5 hours a week in like some weeks, some other weeks I work 20, 30 hours. And then there's other weeks I don't work on it at all because I just don't have time because I have to make YouTube videos. So it takes even longer when you have other things you have to do. So in my mind, Dewdrop will come out when it's done. I'm shooting to have like most of it done by this year and then try to release it early next year. But I don't know. I have no idea. So it's hard. The Discord art. Yeah, we're gonna show it. Yeah, shortly. When does a reference in a game become a copyright infringement? I want to make a game like a retro video game store in a game with an old console you can buy for side quests. But when is it copyright? Names? So you're saying you want to have like like old consoles in there? Because I mean, I think if you make like a little NES, like you're fine. It's copyright is generally in names. So yeah, you don't want to say Nintendo. Or are you just saying like actually copying someone else's art? I don't know. Any advice on making a color palette? Does the size of the palette give a higher standard for more colors? Yeah, what I do for Dewdrop is I have this small palette right here, and all I do is I use these main colors, and then if there's a color that I need that's not in this palette, I'll make it. But I just try to base. If I need a red, I try to use this red, and if I need a purple, I try to use this purple. And I will tweak it. I will change it, but it more so comes down to where people get themselves into trouble are cool tone colors and warm tone colors. So if your palette is cool tone, but then you're using warm colors, like that can mess up your piece. So like this red I'm using right here is a cool red because see how it's like it's more in the blue spectrum. It looks almost like more like a cherry red, whereas this red right here is like it's warm, and you can tell this one feels more orange, this one feels more pink. So that can totally change your art style. So you really don't want to mix different tones. Like even there's areas in Dewdrop that are that may have cool colors, but maybe they're like blues and cooler tones, but they still use a warm cool tone, if that makes sense. So it's kind of confusing, but you can mix them up. Generally, shadows are a cooler tone, and then things in the sun are warmer. I can keep consistent. I'm pretty good with colors, so I just need advice for bigger sprites. Yeah, I think it's just practice. You look at reference and practice. Reference is the king. Like, you need to look at reference all the time. If you don't know what a tree looks like, look at a tree. The reason I was able to recreate Reese's Monsters, because I was looking at them. I wasn't trying to make him up based off of what I thought he was saying. So it's always better to look at reference. Will you ever publish any other Unity games? I don't know. I didn't really enjoy making that game, the Rockpods game. Like, Unity has some really cool features in it, but then there's just some parts that are just like I just don't like. So I don't know. I never say never. But right now I have no plans for it. Goodgis, will you archive the stream or it's getting deleted? No, I archive every stream. I just unlist them. So it will be under past streams in the playlist section. So I'll probably keep it up for a couple of days, though. I'll keep it public for a couple of days. Can I send you a game character for your game? Sure. Goodgis, are you gonna do more game jams? Yeah, we do a spring and a fall game jam. All right.
I haven't done a game jam in a long time.
Yeah. Well, I don't. It's hard because I don't need any excuse to work on another game. Like, I need to be working on my game right now, and you work on Dewdrop and focus on it. So, but when it comes to hosting game jams, yeah, we do the 2 every year. We used to do 4 game jams, but that was a lot, so we cut it back. All right. I think are you done?
Yes, I am done. Sweet.
Here's the final art side by side. That's sweet. I love how you the stylized water in the background and the foliage and like the vines coming out of it is cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit rushed, a little bit.
It's hard because like it's a lot more work for you. I'm just like, hey, like my canvas is 200 by 112, so it's small. Yeah, so
I mean, hey, that was a fun challenge.
Yeah, it definitely was. It definitely pushed me, especially with the characters and stuff. But what do you guys think? Let us know. Did we do a good job? How do you think the characters turned out? Do you feel like they were similar? Do you like the take on it? What would you do differently? And then let's look at some other people's designs. Yeah. So let me figure out how to do this real quick. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. And I gotta go here. I gotta go there. Okay. This is gonna take me a hot minute, so let's go to not that. We want to go to this. Is it gonna let me? No.
If you guys have any questions while he's pulling up the fan arts here or the live stream art, you guys, I'm down to answer some questions. Yes, this isn't my stream. This is very weird. I've never been on somebody else's stream before, I don't think. But just, I guess, a little bit of background on me. Also, ask Goodgis some questions as well. But some background on me: I've been developing Monster Tribe for the past 2.5 years. I work time on game dev and YouTube and basically freelance artwork. So yeah, pixel art is my art style, and don't know what else I can give. If you guys have any kind of questions related to like YouTube, game dev, freelance, business, or whatever Goodgis.
Tim Hortons.
Is,
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I live in Canada. So.
Any Canada advice?
Milk? I do, but you know what? It's a love-hate relationship because I think I'm starting to get. I don't know about milk. I feel like it's starting to affect my moods, so I'm trying to like wean off of it a little bit.
Is it? Are you feeling lactose intolerant or?
Nice. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not really sure.
That's how I get. If I have it, I'm like, where's the bathroom? Okay, hold on.
How are you feeling about your game? I feel like I'm happy to be almost done. I'm very stressed because it is, never released a game at this size before. And especially like working with the publisher and stuff, there's a lot. I think that a lot of problems that arise with that, especially nearing launch. So it's very stressful, but overall I'm very proud of what we've put together, and I'm just excited to create a better game, moving forward. Like all these fundamental skills that I've learned throughout the last 2.5 years, I'm excited to create a better foundation for my future projects as well. So
I've almost got this set up.
See here. What do you do differently if you were just now starting game dev and YouTube? What would I do differently? Good question. I think because you can answer this as well, but I think what would I do differently if I started now? Probably get a job first. Again, if you guys don't know like my story or anything like that, like my background, basically 2 years ago, I was in college for software development when I started this game, Monster Tribe, or I guess Monster Tower at the time. And I ended up spending majority of my time just making YouTube videos, and I loved it so much. I said, you know what, I'm gonna give myself 5 years because I'm a young lad. I was 19 at the time or something like that, so I didn't really have any kind of responsibilities. I was still living at home and all that stuff, so I just decided to give myself the full amount of time to really explore the business side of YouTube and game development. And yeah, here we are, 1.5 years, 2 years later, doing it full time. So I was fortunate to be in that circumstance of not having any kind of responsibilities or anything. Now I'm in a different point in my life where I do have responsibilities, or things to save for, like a house, and I just got a car like a month ago or something. So if I were to restart, get a job first. I would probably do it as a hobby for a couple of years, and build up my skills slowly, so I don't put myself in a predicament to be overly stressed out about developing games for money or for profit.
Yeah, I think that is the trickiest part a lot of times, is you think you want to make money from game dev, obviously, but it is that tricky balance of like trying to sustain yourself so it's not stressful. And I think one of my biggest regrets is probably not having more fun early on. And that's been a huge priority now. It's like, if I'm not having fun, then it's not worth it for me. Like, so I always kind of, if I'm not having fun with making a video, I'm just not going to put out a video that week. And that may sound like, well, man, you got to grow the channel, you got to put out the content. But for me, if it's not genuine, if I'm not like, fully invested, then it's not always worth it. And that's not always the case. Sometimes you have times you need to do things. But so I think having fun with it, and having a full-time job is nice because there is no pressure. Like if it all kind of falls apart, then you're good because you have a job already. But another thing for me is just finishing games more often. Like it's probably my biggest regret. I have a new video my next video is going to be like just a sit down chat, literally like barely any editing, and it's my 3 biggest regrets with game dev. So y'all just have to keep your eyes peeled out for that. So Tom is dumb, which I disagree, Tom. But he asks Goodgis dating advice. Well, the best dating advice I can give you is not to click any of these bot links. And it's dating and game dev is identical. It's basically the same thing. So it's all about working on improving yourself, which improving your game. It's about it's good communication, which is like marketing for your game. And it's about not falling, for toxic people, not dating toxic people or people that try to change you too much, which is like the YouTube comments that when they hate when they hate your game, you're like, oh, this mechanic's boring. So it's all kind of similar. But yeah, I don't know. That's like in a nutshell. Work on yourself, and but also don't let a person like there's this like fine line where it's like you don't want a person to change you, but you also have to be flexible. I think like the number one thing that you can take away is you have to be willing to admit when you make mistakes, and you need to be willing to listen. And like if there is an issue in your life and your significant other or the person you're dating is like calls that out, not to get like butthurt about it, like, oh, and it could be something really dumb. It could be like, please don't have your shoes on in the house. Like that's if that's important to them, it should be important to you. And even if you love wearing shoes like in the house, it's about finding those fine lines, and they need to do the same for you. If there's something that they do, if they drink milk out of the carton and you're like, that's not sanitary, then be like, hey, maybe can you not do that? It's all about honoring one another. So anywho, Monster Drop Dynasty Tribe is coming out 2025. No, I'm kidding. Goodgis, do you know, and Reese, do you know when your games should be released? I'll real quickly go. Dewdrop is planned to release in November. It's probably not going to be done in November because the OST is not going to be done by then. But I'm hoping to have it like mostly done. So it's just going to be like finishing up work. So early next year, it should be like completely done. But if you want to play it early, join my Patreon because I release early builds and demos, and there might be a demo at some point. I don't know. We'll see. So, but yeah, Reese, when isn't it coming out in August or something?
Yeah. So Monster Tribe actually just got the announcement trailer just launched a couple days ago. So we're aiming for August 15th is the release for our game, and there shouldn't be delays, but you never know. Anything is possible. So that's our aimed release, is August 15th.
Sweet. And then, yeah, right now I'm looking at all this art on screen. You guys did such a great job. Like, you seriously did. Yeah. I'm looking at the Champa right now. He's beautiful.
You guys killed it.
Someone did this cool Poe illustration. Absolutely amazing. Like, this super fun challenge. Looking back in retrospect, I'm like super glad we did this, Reese. It's really cool to see how you can push yourself and the different designs you come up with, and I think overall I think it was a fun challenge.
Yeah, and nice question here. Great question for both of us, actually. So what would you say is your most memorable moment in your game dev journey? From Tobin. If you want to start.
Man, I think most memorable moment. There's a lot of good moments, and I'll try to pick one that's like not YouTube related, just so it's a little bit more relatable. I mean, YouTube moment is like obviously growing the channel, hitting like 1,000 subscribers, but with game dev, I think it has to be when people were talking about the game. Like there was actually people talking about a game that I worked on. It was when I was making MMOs. And actually one moment that's really stands out to me recently is that there's still a fan base that plays Whizbirds, which is a side-scrolling MMO I worked on about magic and birds. And they made a Wikipedia page for it, not like a fandom page. And it was so cool going through that and reading through the descriptions and what they were like speculating about the area and characters and stuff like that. And that was like probably one of the most exciting things for me, is seeing these people enjoy something that I worked on, and that motivates you to create more games. So also, peace out, LGN Royal. Have a lovely night rest. Thanks for staying so late. But anyway,
I think for me,
yeah, go ahead.
the most memorable moment. I mean, obviously, yeah, this is really hard, right? It's a very tricky question to answer. Again, splitting it up into game dev, and YouTube. I think 10K for me, I think, was extremely emotional. Like, the 1K and the 10K are definitely like very memorable. 1K for me was like, at that point in time, there really wasn't that many people doing game dev on YouTube, and so some of the biggest creators that I was watching were at maybe like 5 or 10,000 subscribers. And so when I had hit 1,000 subscribers, it was like, oh, this is a possible thing for me. This is something I think I could actually feasibly do one day as like a profession, is a YouTuber and make games and have people play games and stuff like that. So that was awesome. But I for some reason, I don't know what it was, and I don't know if you experienced something like, similar or whatever, but when I hit 10,000 subscribers, it just like hit me like a brick. The entire experience of doing YouTube up until that point for me was very much just like hobbyist and just doing it for fun and watching in these comments roll in or whatever. But when I hit 10,000 subscribers, I just remember thinking like, this is a milestone I never would have thought possible for somebody like me. Because when like, I guess people kind of view creators or anybody in the entertainment industry or whatever a little bit differently, and they might think like this person was born with this like talent to entertain or whatever. When you realize like everybody's just a random person, you don't really think about it like that. But it's a very humbling moment, I guess, for me, in the 10,000, really like appreciating generosity of just everybody coming together and creating a community.
Yeah, 10K.
Yeah, it would be the Kickstarter, I'd say. Like raising a successful Kickstarter, getting over the $5,000 mark in the first like 6 hours.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Was like jaw dropping, and it was that's definitely a very memorable experience.
It's cool to think about, like, and this is important for like everyone listening. Like, it's important to look back on all those moments where you have success. Now it's easy to just be like, yay, like Thomas, you hit 1,000 subscribers, and it's easy to get in this mindset, like in a little bit, where you're like, oh, okay, I hit 1,000 subscribers, but what's next? And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's really important to like sit back and think about this success that you have. And even if it's like you made a game and your friends played it and they enjoyed it, like that's awesome. And thinking back in those moments, or like you do a Kickstarter and you raise money, or like whatever it is, to appreciate the moment. Because it's really easy in our day and age to get jaded by numbers and like oh, like how come I'm not at 500,000 subscribers by now, and all this stuff. Like, it's so easy to get caught up in that, and we take for granted what we have. So whenever you're kind of feeling down the dumps about what you're doing, and it could, for a lot of you, maybe if you haven't posted your work, it could just be even a game that you look back that you're proud of. So that's why I'm a firm believer of like always saving your work, so you can look back and you can see how you've progressed and you grow. So I think it's really important to reflect and look back at that stuff and to let it kind of inspire you. So Penguin Bipolar said, hi Goodgis, how's it going? So all right, any last questions, because I think we're going to wrap up the stream here. So if you have any last question, wait, go ahead.
I want to actually pop up the challenge one more time, just so if people are tuning in and they didn't see
Yeah.
What we were doing today. We want to just pop back up on
Yeah, I'm gonna move this
end
back over.
results.
So this is what we turned
Today's work.
For those who missed, you can go back and watch the stream. But it's basically, we did a challenge to recreate each other's games in our own art style, basically. So, and you guys got to pick the enemies and the backgrounds. And in the future, if you guys would like to see more of this, or even just have other guests on, please let me know, because this was a lot of fun, and definitely would love to do it more. So, but with that said, any other last questions? Get them in now. We'll answer them, and then we'll send you on your merry way. Let's see. He said, no more questions, but thanks for doing the stream, Reese and Goodgis. Hey, thanks for watching. We always appreciate it. It always means so much when people show up, and it was cool to see like a mix of both people, both communities today.
No, it was awesome. Great experience.
Yeah, great responses. You both made it so far in game dev. You guys have inspired so many people to not only become game devs, but also create their own devlogs as well. Thank you. Tobin, I wish you the best of luck. That's what we're here for. We're here to inspire, and when you have success, I encourage you to do the same. It's not about getting to a place of success where you can look down on people. It's about helping people get to where you're at. And some people get afraid of doing that because they're afraid that if I help someone grow to get bigger than me, then I'm going to be left in the dust. But no, instead what you're doing is you're leaving a legacy, and people are going to remember you, that you're the person that tried to encourage and help people grow instead of trying to be cutthroat for views. Let's see. Have a good one. How do you say double blah? I can't even say your name. Stickman has a question for you, Reese. He says, hey Reese, got any tips for 2D open world games?
I would say tread lightly. If you're gonna make a 2D open world game, expect a lot of headache. Hope you've developed a few games. I hope you have a few games under your belt before attempting that, because it's a very stressful experience. I would say if you're gonna make a 2D open world game, you should be a type of person that really enjoys level design and creativity, because you need a varied landscape and a lot of different areas to fill out and flesh out a world. Also, I think like storytelling is a big part of most open world games. Just like side quests and dialogue and character progression. So yeah. But honestly, probably will never do it again. So if that's saying something.
I think too, it's a little too fresh. The wound is too fresh.
Yeah.
Or the hard work.
Yeah.
So
no,
yeah.
it was a good experience though, and I think it was a fun way. One of the biggest challenges is actually like creating a world that basically creating a world that is kind of not stagnant, like it's progressing, but being able to tackle it in any order. You kind of have this like battle between like creating a story, like creating a good story, but also letting it happen naturally and like develop in any area you go to. So like for us, we had kind of segmented actual storyline into like 5 major varied areas, and they kind of each like focused on a different like theming idea. So yeah. I don't know, it's tough stuff.
Yeah, I can imagine. Let's see. Z-Time Gaming, you both did an amazing job with this art swap. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thanks for the stream. It was a nice chill stream, and it was nice watching you draw this in your art styles. Thank you. Luigi Sake. That's an interesting username. I like it. Collab with Toby Fox? Yeah, right. if I reached out to Toby Fox, he'd be like, no. So he's impossible to reach.
I don't know, man.
I no joke reached out to Team Cherry like last year, just see if they're interested in chatting and whatever. Not they ghosted me, but they're just so busy and they probably get a trillion emails. So, oh my goodness, guys, this has been the attack of the Nakey bot stream.
Yeah, the attack of the bots today.
Let's see. Also, you guys did great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, guys. I'm gonna head out, but enjoyed watching the challenge. It's great to you both collab on a stream. Thanks so much, Tobin. I appreciate it. I'm sure we'll do something more again at some point in the future. So, Goodgis, what's your opinion on quirky, Earthbound inspired RPGs? I like them. Sometimes they can be a little dumb because they're just like trying to be too wacky, or they can be really dark, like really strange. But for the most part, I would probably make a quirky Earthbound RPG. Though I'd make it in the style of like Paper Mario. Let's see.
Got some other good questions here.
Go for it.
AIA asks, what do you think is a big misconception in game dev? Or about game dev? A big misconception.
That it's, I mean, probably the biggest one is that it's like fun all the time, because like in anything in life,
That's true.
my uncle literally told me a quote that my grandfather used to say, and that's like anything that has value in life has a cost to it. So that means like anything that has value or something that leaves legacy, or that means that there's going to be a sacrifice. There's going to be a lot of time and energy and hard work put into it. So I think game dev is fun, but people are just like say like, how do I stay motivated? How to do all this stuff? Like you just do it. You just like, you don't, when you don't feel like working on it, you sit down and you work on it, and you just like, and there's ways that you can make it fun, but it really comes down to like, I guess it all comes down to motivation, like forcing yourself to do it, even when it's not fun, because that's, you know, that's how you finish things. Like The Keep was a really fun game to make, but there's times that I was like, oh, I want to be done with this. But then there's like in your situation, Reese, you've been working on Monster Tribe for a long time, and now you're trying to finish it. You're finishing something, and after you do, you're gonna feel great. But you're in that, when you're in the thick of it, it's not always fun. So that would, in my opinion, is the biggest misconception.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that. You know, just this concept of game development always being fun. If you're literally just making video games. You're making entertainment. But I think that anybody that does anything like that, because it's kind of the same thing when, I mean, I don't think this anymore, but when I was a kid, you know, like creating movies or acting in movies, it all just seemed like this fun idea. You know, it's you're literally creating entertainment, and it definitely has its fun moments, but can be very daunting at times. And any skill is hard work. So yeah, I agree with Goodgis on that one. The question is, do you find it easier working with a team or solo development? And I think it's a good question because we both worked with both.
Yeah,
we both worked on games solo and in a team. So I mean, I would say there's pros and cons to literally everything in life, but looking at, you know, team versus solo development, when you're working in a team, hands down, obviously you can get more work done. You can create a bigger project. You can work on, yes, like you can do more. But when you're working solo, I find I'm more efficient when I work solo. I can get things done very quickly because I know exactly what my vision is, and I can make that, and I can replicate out that vision, you know, in from my head onto like a physical whatever in a game engine or something. I'm working in a team, it's a lot harder to do something like that because everyone has their own idea, as to what the vision actually is. And so there can be conflicts, there can be misconceptions as to like what a certain idea actually is. So I think, pros and cons, but me personally, I want to kind of direct, like, go into both directions. I want to develop my own games as like a solo developer, but I also want to start hiring on team members to like create projects in the background as well. I really want to start like hiring people on for video game development moving forward. So yeah, I like them both.
Luigi said when you work with a team, you need to explain stuff and manage it and stuff, and it's true. But I will say, like, after working with a team, working with a Fear team and contracting them out more, it's actually great, because the hardest part is conveying the message, the vision that you have. And you are right, like Reese, that there's some things you can sit down and do much quicker than explaining it to someone. So there is like this fine line, and that's something I'm still learning with the Fear team. Like, sometimes it is easier for me to just like do something myself instead of having them do it. But even just like having a composer make music for Dewdrop, it's amazing, because even when I'm doing nothing, work is getting done. And having Kiwi's like been coming on as an artist for Dewdrop, and she's doing a great job, and that saves me, instead of me thinking about how am I going to do all this extra art, it's already taken care of. So it frees up time. And even though you have to give some direction, the more you do it, it honestly is a much better way, and there's a lot less stress and strain. And I've been doing a lot for Blizzard Blowout 64, and it's been like the most fun I've had. That, and more recently with Dewdrop, it's been the most fun I've had developing a game, because it's less stressful because you have people helping out. So there is a fine line, depending on the scale of the game. It could be, and also depends like the people on your team, if they're not hard workers, or if they, it obviously comes down to the people you're working with. So if you have a great teammate, then they could be worth their weight in gold. But if they're not a great teammate, then it's more of a headache than it's worth. So it is it's a tricky thing. It all comes down to personal preference. But I personally think that I want to do more games as a team and become more of like the Miyamoto like art director than doing all the grunt work and coding everything. So can you zoom into the monsters one last time? Yeah, let's do it. Get a nice little zoom in right there. Will Dewdrop be on the Switch? That is the plan. So I would love for it. That's, even if it doesn't get a lot of sales, I want it to be on the Switch, just for me, just so I know I've made a game on a console. So I agree. Instead of doing all this stuff yourself, you can split the work with a team. Yeah. Someone said, do I think Toby Fox's art is bad? I don't think it's, I mean, some of it is bad, yes. But I think that's his style, though, so I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And that also should prove to you that art is important, but it's not as important as you think. So really what made Undertale do so well was the music and the story. Like, if Undertale had a bad soundtrack, no one would have heard of it. So all right, I think let's see, I think that's it. We've been streaming. Wait, hold on. We gotta wait one more minute, and then it's officially 3 hours that we've been streaming.
Yeah.
Dewdrop limited physical release. I would love to. Like I said, if you would like to see that happen, then please share Dewdrop Dynasty with your friends. Share it on Twitter. Just say, hey guys, wishlist this game. We need to grow our wishlist. Whatever. Like, anything you guys can do to help promote the game is the difference between it just being a PC release or it being released on a bunch of consoles and a physical release. So I know limited run games will print copies, but it would have to be, we'd have to sell more than 5 copies to do it. So seriously, and my last PSA, wishlist Monster Tribe. If you haven't checked out Monster Tribe, check it out. It's in the description. It's an awesome game. It's gonna be exciting. I backed the Kickstarter. I'm looking forward to it. So make sure to wishlist that and support Reese. If you haven't wishlist Dewdrop, wishlisting costs you nothing. Even if you decide not to get the game, it helps so much because, like I said, Steam, it needs that magic 10K number to really push your game. So also want to give a huge shout out to Kiwi, my lovely wife, who's been managing the chat and fighting the Nakey bots and keeping our streets clean. So I appreciate Kiwi. She also has a channel. If you're curious about pixel art, check her out. She's gonna make a new video soon, fingers crossed. Reese, do you have any other final words before we end it here?
Yeah, no, I mean, I would just say thanks everybody for, coming on the stream and dropping some amazing questions. I had a blast just answering these questions with Goodgis and having a good time with you guys. So if you guys want us to do more stuff like this, best way to do that is by just, subscribing to the channels and, giving us feedback in the Discord channels and, liking the videos and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I think I'm very proud of what we both came up with today and excited to make a video on it. So that's about it for me.
Yeah, keep your eyes peeled for the video, and yeah, if you missed the stream, like I said, it'll be public, so you can go check it out. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hopefully will be posting a video here soon, and a really cool video plan within the next week or two. So stay tuned, and thank you guys for tuning in, especially those who stayed the whole length of the stream. Really appreciate you guys. So have a lovely rest of your day or evening, wherever you're at, and we'll see you next time. Peace.